Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. North American stock futures trying to get back into positive territory this morning. We were little changed for the most part throughout the pre-market. It's Inauguration Day in the U.S. as U.S. President-elect Joe Biden set to become the 46th president for the country. Coming up at lunchtime today, we're watching a lot of individual names this morning moving around in the pre-market on the back of more potential stimulus coming from Biden, the $1.9 trillion proposed package he talked about last week. Markets kind of awaiting any further details to come when we speak of that $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief package. Individually this morning, Netflix, big mover aftermarket yesterday, again this morning to the upside after a blowout sub number for them during their quarter. We'll talk about their earnings. Alibaba shares back to the upside. They found Jack Ma. He's fine. Everything's back to normal, apparently, with Jack Ma. And BlackBerry back on watch again this morning, up another 3.5%, extending a 4-session run for BlackBerry shares. It's Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. We go look at Asian markets from the overnight session. You can see, Shanghai there, 2.5% to the upside. Hong Kong also leading the way, 1+% in positive territory. Australia, Japan offsetting to the downside. Let's go over to Europe, see how things are shaping up. Pretty mixed session here so far throughout the European landscape. Italy, 0.5% to the upside. Germany as well having a nice day, but Spain, 0.5% downside. Sweden as well, 1+%. Let's go over to North America here, see how things are shaping up at this point. 0.9% for the NASDAQ at this point in positive territory. S&P and the Dow following suit. Brazil also higher. Look at Bitcoin, big tumble today, 5.5%. Both crude oil and gold in positive territory as well. Good morning, guys. Another day. It's Wednesday. It's Inauguration Day in the U.S. Lots to talk about this morning in relation to the inauguration. A new administration coming in means different policy, more policy towards certain areas of the market. We're already seeing some of the clean energy names moving higher this morning. We'll talk about that, and obviously the ever popular EV space.
Yes, sir. And speaking of the EV space, just very, very quickly off the bat, LCA was halted, and it is a public offering, $350 million. So it has resumed trading. I don't know if we put the watch list out, and then the offering came just shortly after that. So make sure you check that one out. It is going to be probably on the move a bit today. One of the things you didn't see on that chart there, Ethereum moving a little bit to the downside as well. So at some point, maybe we should get that up there. I don't know. Bitcoin looks good enough as well. Oddly enough, gold exactly flat. I mean, the story today for a lot of people, of course, if you're looking at Inauguration Day, for us, it's going to be Netflix absolutely blowing it out of the water. Certainly a big time beat when it came to that subscription number, and you're seeing a big move, which finally happened. It was basically doing nothing around 500 for a long time, and then we actually get some movement out of there. As you said, Brendan, the EV space is going to be near and dear and close to our hearts, but the gambling space as well going to be back into, well, not back into play, I guess. It's not as if DraftKings has stopped trading around, Sean. It's just that some of the moves have been stunted as it got into this price area. I'm looking at GAN as well, but it should be an exciting one. It is a sort of a hump day, I suppose, even though it feels like I almost said Tuesday. It is hump day. Today is Wednesday, of course, a shortened week, but it feels like the start of the week to me.
Yes, it is. It feels like, I mean, I don't even know what day it is today, so let's go with Wednesday. And yeah, it's hump day. Look, it's going to be a good one, man. We have AMC going off today again, so congratulations to anyone that longed that with me here. And I just have some people in the chat there. What's up, Randy Turner? And I forget who else it was there talking about, Christopher, Donkey Kong. So yeah, we'll talk about DraftKings. We'll talk about AMC. Yeah, you guys know I'm long both of those names, gotten a couple people into those plays as well. And then the big one for me today that we're going to be celebrating a little bit here is Alibaba. I mean, we were buying Alibaba sort of. I had 3 different purchases downside here on the daily chart. down 230, 240, things like that. My best buy is 223 right down here. We bought again in the 30s and then again in the 40s. So it's a big win for us here on Alibaba, and we're also long in the 60s to start the position. So nice to see, Brendan. You mentioned that they had found Jack Ma, and yeah, they did. And he's all good, which means we're all good.
Indeed. Let's jump into what is moving around, guys, in the pre-market. Actually, before we do that, we'll have a look at how traders here at Day Trade the World fared yesterday. Nice numbers coming out of a whole mix of markets here once again in number one. Number of Canadian markets there as well, 25,000, better part of 25,000, more Canadian markets here. Number two, 17,000. Europe making an appearance at number four. You can see 13+ thousand, got to go all the way down to number 8 today, get out of the 5-figure club from yesterday. So another great day for traders here at Day Trade the World. Let's head over to the desk to start things off and say good morning to Valeria.
Good morning, Brendan, and hey guys, I wish you a great trading day, and we're here to make it only better. Please hit thumbs up and let's get it started, Brendan.
Yeah, lots to get through this morning. Thank you. We'll touch on DraftKings coming up. We have Tesla to talk about as well. Some of the clean energy names to get through. Neil mentioned that Lithium America, LAC, the ticker on that one on the watch list as well. But I want to start things off this morning touching on DraftKings, guys. We had a couple of news stories that came out during the show yesterday, in fact, on both Penn National and DraftKings when it comes to Michigan. Some more licenses coming through for both online activities and in-person gaming for both the state of Michigan and more in Texas, guys. So positive catalysts here once again for some of these gaming stocks.
This has been, yeah, I mean, this has just been an easy trade because you've known that, you know, Joe Biden's coming in, the Democrats are coming in, and all this COVID spending that's been happening. The states, federally and statewide, need to raise capital, right? And they need to allow legalized gambling and try to tax on it. So I think it was just a play that was, you know, bound to happen. And we've been long this name for a while. But see, it's still not really, I don't know, it's still not really moving. I mean, I'm in it. We're happy. You know, we like DraftKings, but to me, it's got to break above this 56 before we even start to talk anything serious about it. The VWAP, or sorry, the 50-period moving average, you can see here, that's what we use, is here at $50, $49.50. So that's some nice support there. I like the bottom bases here, 48 to 50. I love that we were talking before, you know, 34 to 36, 37, and now we're using this as a base of operations down here. So look, I really like DraftKings. I've been a fan of it for a while, as you guys know. And then yesterday, yeah, look, we got some news, but this doesn't look like good news, right? I mean, from 54 all the way down and just continue to go down. This is that spike that we had a little bit. I tweeted that out. That's that Michigan news right here. From 51, looked like the bottom there, up to 52. So straight up about $1 before coming all the way back down. So I don't know. I think this move is probably a little bit overdone. I would actually, you know, $53 on the short side doesn't look too horrible. If we are going to get excited about a long, I wrote down here 54.50 yesterday's high. So we got to get to there first. So it's going to be one or the other. But you know what? I mean, I just think up 5% seems a little bit overdone to me, but I'm going to look for a 53 break to the downside. However, I am not afraid to go long at 54.50. So I just still think, guys, we're stuck in a trap a little bit here, and I'm not going to be using heavy shares on DraftKings today either way. But hey, I like it for a long-term play for sure.
Yeah, at least DraftKings is up, right? I mean, GAN's actually dead flat, but it's a similar sort of story here, just sort of consolidating, you know, 22.50 on the range in the week. You know, and I can show you the 15-minute 22.50, a bit of a support range in the week, and then a 25 top. Heading back over to the daily chart, this was a great. It was one of those sort of lagging plays in the space. When it broke this like 18-19, we loved it, and Mark jumped in. I think a day or two after we were talking about this one, and it just has to. It's very similar to DraftKings. It has to break out that 25, and I wouldn't be shocked if it pulled back in here. It was nothing intentional. I know some people are joking around about the chat that. We never actually mention Penn. Well, actually, that's not true. We never actually bring up Penn Gaming, but you know, just to show you the 15 on Penn. Now, I prefer GAN, and I would also probably prefer DraftKings as well. It's a very, very similar sort of range-bound trade, and they're only up 2.5% here, Penn itself, because of participating in that sell-off that Sean showed you in yesterday's trade. And it really just, this one has to break out as well. So it's going to be basically the same look if this is what you're watching here. Just know that psychological $100 level hasn't really mattered too much on Penn. The dip at 95 certainly gives you an opportunity there, but there's no hard and firm levels on Penn. really had any luck trading. I think I traded it once, maybe. So I'll always stick to DraftKings, and I still like GAM when it breaks at 25. I think it's probably going to have some momentum through there as well.
Interesting, guys. I want to talk about Tesla in a second here, but I went back last night and did a little looking when it comes to inauguration day and also inauguration week when it comes to the stock market. It's been fairly muted. If you take away 2008 during the financial crisis, there's a big move down during that week, 10% move down. Historically, it's a range between a 2.5% decline to about a 5% increase for the overall market over the first 5 days during inauguration week. So a little bit muted. Maybe guys, thoughts going into today's session on the overall market here. What do we expect as far as action today?
I mean, just follow the money. Like the Nasdaq's up 0.95 here, the S&P's up 0.5%, and I just think, I mean, I've bingo up here. If you guys want to buy it, it's on sale right now, down 17% on a share offering. But look, some people have said, and I talked about Facebook yesterday, buying Facebook yesterday and 250. I rotated some money out of JP Morgan and into Facebook yesterday, so really happy with this. Look, Janet Yellen spoke yesterday, and I mean, she's been appointed, so she spoke. Mentioned low rates basically forever. I don't think that's a great environment for banks, and I think that's a great environment for tech. I think it's a great environment for growth. So I look at Facebook, I look at Apple here to go the rest of the day here today. Apple, again, I think Apple could be a hell of a lot higher than it is right now due to, again, some of that China rhetoric that was always spewed. Oh man, our charts still don't have the update here for the split. Oh yeah, and plus we have those wicks. But China back up to 130, or sorry, Apple back up to 130, 138, I think is definitely possible. Look, I would say today, I'm looking for hopefully a bright new future. That's sort of what people are talking about here. It's a new leaf. It's a turnover. We're just going to see what Biden can get done. I mean, some of the weed plays are there as well. But for the overall market, which you asked, Brendan, yeah. I mean, look, the trend is your friend here today. It's been upside since people started really coming in. Well, I guess we'll talk to Arun pretty soon, but a nice little base here at 13,050 straight up to the upside here. I like the NASDAQ today. I think, Joe Biden and the Democrats are very, hopefully tech friendly. I don't know, that's not really been the case with the Democrats, but I just think that unlocking China and unlocking some value here makes a lot of sense to me. So let's just wait to see, and especially the EV space. Like you said, if there's anything on sale, try to pick some of those up. BNGO's not EV, but NEO maybe as well. Could be something, electric vehicles, Biden. So I would sell a lot of the gas and oil plays here and move into some EV, but that trade's kind of done, right, Neil? I mean, we've seen that happen already.
I mean, yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, Biden came and killed Keystone right away, which I don't think really surprised anybody. And I do. There's probably going to be at some point another upswing in energy, and then some of the recovery names. I don't know whether that's going to be right here, right now. I mean, Sean, you mentioned some of the EV names there that I think are going to have to remain in play. I mean, you look at some of the slower ones like the Fiskars in there. I just want to, if I can, maybe throw up a Tesla. And again, we're right at that same like 850, 860. Lack of breakout sort of pivot area. This is not gonna, of course, as Sean pointed out there. I got to zoom in on the daily chart just so you can see a little bit better. Yeah, this is not gonna last forever. I mean, Tesla has been gearing up for a run to the top. So, if you're gonna be playing in the EV space, it seems crazy to say, but don't forget about Tesla. Certainly, this is turned into like a buy and hold stock, but I think there are going to be some trades to be had. And the second we actually get this breakout, probably through like 880 or so, and up to like 900, I think it's going to be a fantastic day trade. I think, this turnover here that we're seeing, and, starting with today, the NASDAQ leading the way, and tech leading the way, and then some of the new sectors that we've been talking about here that will benefit from the new administration. Just remember that Tesla is the leader of that band. And at some point, it's going to start the march once again. And I'm not saying it's going to be today, but I've been avoiding it as a day trade. Now it's going to be on one of my charts on a daily basis, so we can try to avoid missing the big break when it comes.
So a couple things to be aware of when it comes to Tesla. Neil, reading my mind here. Tesla got not one, but two different upgrades today in price target increases. Oppenheimer, this one the biggest. Yeah, we're back to 1,000. So Oppenheimer slapping a street high price target of 1,036 on Tesla. We just saw the chart there. It's been impressive. We've talked about it a lot, obviously. The daily chart specifically to the upside. Sean, thoughts on Tesla here before we get going?
Oh, I was just getting some GameStop shares here. Get some GameStop shares if you're looking to go short. I do like GameStop short if it does break through this 34. So let me just accept that and then go. Okay, Tesla here. Okay, let's look at that. And again, we have easy access here to shortable shares, right? So you got to watch out for that move on GameStop. Okay, look, this is the thing. We just talked about EV space. We talked about Tesla, NIO, some of those names. Neil just talked about Tesla. It's still in this little grouped up spot here, which is from 811 basically is the bottom. We're not going to see that today. So I'm looking at these tops. I mean, every single one of these wicks is basically 869, 870, the high 880. We've seen 885 already. These are all-time highs. So basically, regardless of what Tesla's at here, guys, we're at all-time highs. I mean, $860, this is good enough for me here. We are bunching up. I love the way that looks. We've talked about getting in on clusters, especially with our good friend, the stock father there, coming through. Not this week, but he'll be back next week. And look at this, 850, 856, it's a clump there, it's a clump here, there's a clump here, and every time it just goes up. You can't even find a chart of Tesla really moving to the downside. So I think it just keeps going higher, and I like it. But today, if we're gonna look at Tesla today, we're already up that 1.5%. I just think you got to play this long, man. Breaking through 858, it looks like it's going to happen sooner rather than later. I think I'm going to go long right off the open on any, whatever the price is, but I got to wait for the open to hit, which is still 45 minutes away. Wow. So we still have a long ways to go. You're above this VWAP, which is 856. I would say, again, there's a little bit of area of support down here, 840 to 845. So either way, you have about $10 worth of risk if you want to give it back down to that spot. So I would say it's worth a long here heading into what should be, another profitable year for Tesla. I mean, more to come. And, I just have this weird feeling. And again, I don't know, I could put our members out here to task, but is there a limit on how many times you can split a stock in a calendar year? Because honestly, we saw what the split did. It literally rifled this thing hundreds of percent to the north side just when the split was announced, right? I mean, I can show you the chart, show you that chart after. Tesla's up, 750% year over year from its March bottoms. It's been an absolutely fantastic run. And I get a feeling that this probably gets split again. And if it does, if they announce a split, let's just say they announce a split today, tomorrow this thing trades north of 1,000. So you tell me who wants to be short Tesla, and I'll tell you not this guy.
Michael Burry.
One more here. We'll talk about Tesla a little bit more coming up, I'm sure, during the show as we, 1,038 price target there from Oppenheimer. But this one, big crazy mover from yesterday, ACRS, Aclaris Therapeutics, just coming out with an offering. So if you're looking at ACRS, heads up, 5.5 million share offering at $7.50 per share. So 5.5 million shares at, $17.50 per share, not $7.50. If you remember, this thing went from $6, to $19 yesterday, guys.
Yeah, it's a share offering kind of day. You talked about bingo. I think Gevo as well is going to be another one. We always mention, it's all about how well they're received. So anytime you see catching a bid off of these, you got to play the sort of I guess the bullish side. I mean, for me, usually I'm going to see this setup, and it was looking like ACRS was going to be a short for me at one point today. That would have been, right around 7 o'clock when, the volume came in, tried to push it through yesterday's high. All a good sign here, breaks at 20, comes right back down. That's going to be a weak sign usually, but it couldn't get past the next level. It bounced off 18, so we're still looking rather bullish on this name. If it gets through an 18 level, I think I'd be a little bit more involved there. I think when you're playing these offerings, I think it's a bit of a tricky game because some of the old rules where, you're just going to sit around on weakness and they're not going to move on that day. They'll find a bit of bid support. There'll be lots of buy sides in and around those prices. None of that really seems to happen much anymore. So some of these turn into momentum plays on the offering day, and that sort of brings me, if I can, to BNGO. And it's not to say that bingo, is the kind of thing that goes up forever, but it already has tried to catch a bit of a bid here, and this is sort of what I'm talking about, receiving it well. $7 on bingo. There was a pullback last week off of right around this price on a major dip. So the fact that it's held 7 at least so far seems like a bit of a positive sign here. One other note, I did just jump. I scalped AMC a couple of times. I just want to very, very quickly say some of this is based on level 2. There was a 325 a little bit earlier in the session that was a bit of an iceberg, was a break. So that's the reason I like that price. At 350, there was some gamesmanship at the top of that break. Someone was bidding, layering 100,000 share orders to push it through 350, and then pulled, subsequently, causing the stock to fall back down. So I kind of feel like it was somewhat manipulated to come back in. That's why I like the long in front of 325. It's a pure scalp play. I won't hold this if it breaks 325 and look for another trade after the open.
All right, I just wanted to show something this. I thought this was pretty cool. We just posted this up on our Instagram. I thought this was a nice one here. A couple goats here. This should be Brendan here, but Trader TV Live. Check us, follow us on Instagram as well. It's kind of a fun little story there. And I saw that Kevin O'Leary now following, so now I have direct access to get to him, and it should be a good one. So follow us on Instagram as well. And yeah, I'm still looking at this Tesla. It looks like it may break this 858 even before we start. I'm not going to take any shares in this name in the pre-market, but you can if you want. I like an 858 break there on Tesla. And I just told some of my friends, again, you got to stop bothering me, boys. I'm on the show here. They were saying, do we pick up some BNGO here, down 18%? I know Neil was just talking about it. If you like the stock, this is a great opportunity. So, I mean, it came out, I think it was $6, bought right back up almost immediately. So, a nice little move on BNGO. I think that's pretty strong. 770 break on BNGO looks promising to me.
Yeah, guys, we're going to get to Netflix coming up right now. In fact, if you haven't done so already, make sure you open up the watch list, guys. We send it out every single morning before we come on at 8:30, talking about all the stocks moving around in the pre-market and a little on why they are moving. We will kick things off with Netflix today. Big move both in the aftermarket yesterday and in the pre-market here this morning. It was the sub number. 8.51 million paid subscribers, handily beating the 6.1 million estimate for the current quarter for Netflix. But nice report otherwise for Netflix as well. Up huge, guys.
Yeah, well, the other key thing, of course, is no more debt financing. So it's big-time positive wins for Netflix. You're going to see it we're not actually there yet. 575 and change would represent the high. It has sold off from this level each time we've gotten there, and rather sharply. This is a little bit of a different push into this range, just given the nature of the move off of earnings here. The first thing I was looking to do, it was just simply play the simple chart and the resistance, and then look for a breakdown on Netflix just to see if it doesn't sort of pull back a little bit, fill in some of this gap. Let me just pull a 1 minute so you can. Oh, that's a little annoying. And my first thought was just looking, if you kind of see what we've held here. This is like a 567.50 area. I was looking to see a breakdown trade. I don't love the idea of just sitting in front of 575 and going short. I think certainly that's going to be a nice little breakout trade when it does occur. If that's today, fantastic. If it's not, I'd much prefer like a rollover or a breakdown trade if I have to short Netflix today. Is that way it would fill in the gap. Otherwise, I think it's like 575.37 is the actual top. I did actually write it down here. 75 also works as an even round number. Don't sleep on Disney as well. I read kind of an interesting article which made a really good point that I never really thought about, that Netflix is like the old dog because they're the ones not needing a debt. They're the ones talking about buybacks. When on the other flip hand, you've got Disney, which hasn't yet, but has been considering, of course, scrapping their dividends so they can reinvest in growth streaming, which makes sense when you're innovating in the growth stages. But Netflix is sort of on the other end of it, and Disney, the more established company, but yet here we are in the streaming space, and it's kind of flipped around.
Yeah, Netflix. Again, I wrote down nothing on Netflix because I just wanted to see the action on that. I've noted also, I talked to Brendan last night when the report came out. Netflix generally on the day that after it reports, I've noticed, we've traded here a couple times now, I've been doing the show for a while, just noticed that it hasn't traded very well the day after. So we'll just wait to see. I mean, it's a huge monster beat. I love it because it's also propelling Disney, like Neil just mentioned there. Disney actually has rocketed up. I got to portfolio manage here a little bit because Disney's now the #1 holding in my portfolio because I was able to pick some up at a great price. and now 568 coming into play here on Netflix. Let's just see if it takes out yesterday's bottom there, 564. But I mean, that's not even the bottom. It's just where I stopped at the chart. So 568 here in the pre-market, that's been the bottom. I like that, but again, you know, it's a pretty tight range. So for this is what I'm talking about. For a $500 stock, like 574 to the high side, 568 to the bottom. So it's very, very tight. Let's just see what happens. I think some people are underinvested in Netflix, so I expect this one to go. I don't think there's going to be a high shortage on it. I know Brendan's at the screen. We can figure that out in a minute, but I think 575 is probably going to be a good spot to go long.
Yeah, I'll check that out. I haven't looked at that for quite some time on Netflix. Here we go, guys. Some upgrades and downgrades. Yep, Netflix on here. I mentioned Oppenheimer. $1,038 price target for Netflix now. Tesla back on here as well. We'll talk about Tesla more. DraftKings, Boeing on this side of things. I haven't mentioned Beyond Meat for quite some time, but Beyond Meat catching a downgrade. Bloom Energy, Michaels, and Kroger. Guys, a couple from the retail space on the downgrade side.
Ogre. No, we're just actually, even Tesla as well. I kind of, when we're talking about Tesla, I did see it on the screen, so I kind of knew it was coming up there. We haven't really talked a heck of a lot about Boeing here, but I think, whoops, why is Beyond Meat in my, that's why. There you go. Let's fix my quote board there so you can actually see Beyond Meat on the NASDAQ, of course. That always like throws me a little bit. It's been, I don't know what the best word for it here on Beyond Meat. Come on, daily chart. We'll go to the 15 minutes so you can see a little better. It's been a bit range bound, and this is not the first stock that I'll show you today that has this sort of like, you know, previous break, making a very, very clear bottom here at a 136. And then you get an upgrade in the middle of this range while it's doing essentially nothing, and we're actually down a little bit here. In the event that this is an opportunity for people to take profit, I think this 136 is the only thing I'll be watching today. It's like $3 away from it right now, so like we're bouncing off of that level. But if we get down to like a 136 and Beyond Meat is sort of lingering there, giving you an opportunity at like 10 o'clock or a little bit after that little morning rush, that'll be a little spot that I'll try to take some shares in. Just one note: I'm gonna be covering AMC into that 350 area. It's a scalp trade, like I was saying before, so you know, get that like 5, 10, 15 cent win type of idea off that 325 long. But Beyond Meat, it's really like 136 that I'll be watching if we ever get down there. I'd rather play the range in a stock that I feel like hasn't been as crazy than, you know, sort of have like actionable, this is what I'm doing at the open, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what happens when it actually gets to this price. It's given you some good bounce opportunities before. If the pattern emerges again, there's a profit to be had there.
I was looking here at Netflix now breaking through 575, and it actually
broke now?
Yeah, exactly. No, break up. Yeah. It went to 596, so it almost goes straight up $1 right now. And I just got in, so I just got in a very, very small amount here at 575 even, 575.09. Now, again, I don't. This is just a testing spot just to see what happens. I'm going to hold this all the way back down to the bottom. It's not a big position, but I mean, a loss is still a loss. So let's see what happens through 567. Like I said, I just think that there's, you know, not that people are caught short. That's not the issue. I just think that this was very, very unexpected. And I just wonder if people are going to get more money into this name here than out of it. So let's just wait to see. And again, look, the spread, this is what I'm talking about. The spread opens up. You got 70 cents right now. So it's not looking good, but that's fine. It's a very, very light position. And we'll probably use somewhere around here, 565 or so as our out on the bottom. Let's take a shot here with Netflix, guys.
All right, guys, let's talk about Alibaba. Big move, first off, over in China overnight to the upside. We're seeing North American stock continue on that path to the upside this morning after months of lying low. As the company said, Jack Ma made his first appearance and comments in regards to some of the financial regulators in China yesterday at an event. So Alibaba catching a pop on that, guys.
Look, I mean, I was going to make Alibaba. I talked about this, the play of 2021, and then all of a sudden, its co-founder went missing. But so this is basically where we started to buy Alibaba in the first place. I think my first long was 262 and change. I don't really, you know, when you're investing for a long-term play, guys, you don't need to listen to all that, you know, temporary noise. I mean, we know what Alibaba's all about. You know, we know the product. We know that they're crushing it, and we'll just continue with Alibaba. And I just think that that's something that, and congratulations to Greg as well, that bought in the 230s with me as well. And I mean, just look at the move that it's had to the upside. I posted again, on my Twitter. Follow me at TraderTV Sean. We posted some of these plays down here for you. This is exactly the kind of investing that I do. So not only am I buying calls and stuff in AMC, but we're also trying to make some plays for long term. And this looks a lot to me, you know, like the bottoms that we invested in the first place. So this is why we got some 260s in the first place, because we saw this little, you know, bunch there. We fell back down. We hung out here for a while. Jack Ma goes missing. The thing goes all the way down here, 215. That's kind of like a little bit of a joke. It's not that anyone really thought he was missing, I don't think, but who knows? Chinese government. And then our best buy is down here, 223. Look at this consolidation. Then we bought some more, hoping for a breakout, which it did. So we bought some more at 237. Then yesterday, bang, 245. And now today, you're back right back up to this level. So I think that's great. I think now we use bottoms of 250. That would be a break back down below this area. And look, I said it already. We started the show off by saying, where can we put our money? You know, what's going to happen with this new administration? Today's the day. Joe Biden's speech coming. We pray for a safe and successful turnover. But, you know, once that happens, you're going to see some Chinese names come back into play. We've already seen Pinduoduo's going crazy. Baidu's going crazy. And I just think Baba's the next shoe to fall here. I'm heavily invested now. I like it. And I think we go back to all-time highs. I don't see why. They sold like $100 trillion. That's obviously not true, but during Singles Day, they're still crushing it. Alibaba, they still have Ant Financial to go. I talked about Ant Financial with you guys back down here when it got shelved. That's part of this initial drop there. And then, of course, the regulators came in and snatched up Alibaba and attempted to, I guess, kidnap Jack Ma. That's a hilarious story. But 268, 260, like imagine if Zuckerberg was all of a sudden missing. 269 here, break to the upside. I'm going to leave Alibaba alone today for a day trade, but if it does break above that 270 area, that gets me excited. Alibaba there, BlackBerry, Neil, your phone still going crazy there. And then AMC up, 1.8 million. But look, you got to like Alibaba. It has been a great investment. So let's just keep going with it.
Yeah, I was going to show the day that, of course, Baba had that ridiculous run to the downside. We were actually day trading it to the long side. The comment that I tried to make about Alibaba, and I apologize for this little wick here you see on Amazon up to 6,000. This never really happened. But if you look at the run Amazon has been on, and you sort of compare the growth in Amazon stock relative to the growth in this business, and you do the same comparison with Alibaba, it's basically been a value the entire time. So everything about that trade before, nothing really changed. Amazon has continued to basically sit here consolidating at the top, while Alibaba was in that pullback. And I think it's just one of those things where if you saw tomorrow, and I can't make up a headline for you here, but if you saw tomorrow that Ethereum was down like 25%, and Bitcoin hadn't moved, and there was a story that made absolutely no sense to you fundamentally, you'd probably be looking at a value buy. And I think that's part of the story when it comes to Alibaba there. And at some point, it's gonna catch up. I think that's why it's been a sort of a long-term hold. I actually, when you said hands off there, I don't have a trade on Alibaba today at all. I'm definitely gonna be looking more at Netflix, which I do see is right back at that 575 there, Sean.
All right, guys, let's bring in Arun here. We'll have a look at the overall market, see what levels we need to be aware of as far as the futures are concerned. Arun. We'll let that go. Arun has been around long enough to be witness to a couple of inaugurations, I believe, more than one at least. Typically, Arun, this day, as I mentioned, I went back last night and looked at some prior inauguration days and weeks. Fairly muted price action around these events.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty, right? When uncertainty happens, it's tend to drift, if not to the downside. But in this case, we are drifting to the upside, light volume. But that can change on a dime. A lot of things can happen very quickly, especially on a day like today, where there's a lot of uncertainty involving security, right? So for the lease. So in terms of levels, we still got that 38.25. That's been in place since last week. If we can get above 38.50, we are drifting to the upside. So if we can get above 38.50 and kind of settle in, I think we really have a chance to test that 25. But in terms of technical setups, I'm not seeing anything that I can really work with. And my closest level that I'm willing to go long in front of is 37.65. That's the level I gave you guys yesterday. And since then, there's not enough activity for me to declare any new levels that I'm comfortable with. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let the market ride out. If we get above 15 and we want to test the 25s, fine. But if we're gonna do that, I'm gonna want to see if we can actually find a base, whether it's to the buy side or to the sell side. If we find some selling activity, some setups to the sell side, then I have that 38.25 to use as a stop. If we declare new levels as we're drifting up and kind of testing down, what I mean by levels or declaring new levels is we got to go down, we got to find a level we're not willing to get past, and then check a few times to see if we're actually going to hold above it. And if we hold above it and go back up, then I can be comfortable saying, you know what, that's a level for me. I'm willing to go long if we break 25 to the upside and use that as a stop. But for now, 38.25 is the closest level we've got, and then 37.65 is the bottom end. Again, things can change very quickly. Just because it's sleepy now doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to stay that way, especially after the open. Keep in mind, noon is the go time pretty much for a transition. So keep an eye on what happens around noon. That usually is the quietest time of the day, but today might be a little different.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow as we head towards the open. Guys, under 30 minutes now before markets get going here on the Eastern time zone. Let's jump down to BlackBerry next. We've mentioned this past couple of days, 4 days in a row now, to the upside for BlackBerry. There's been a number of catalysts surrounding this company and the stock. We had a deal or a dispute with Facebook that was finalized and put to the side, a royalty dispute. We also had some patents that were sold to Huawei when it comes to smartphones. They still have quite the library of patents, to say the least, as we mentioned yesterday. But another day to the upside here, guys, for BlackBerry.
There was a point when I making the joke about never owning an Apple phone and loving the stock and having a BlackBerry and never owning the stock. That actually, it used to be smart. It used to be kind of funny to be able to say. Now it's like, yeah, so much for ignoring this one. There is a bit of you talked about the catalyst there, Brendan. Of course, there was a patent, the Amazon deal. I don't know how much the patent play is the driver so much as just maybe like a jump off point. And we saw that. We saw it late last year when this all started, and then right back into support eventually at 650. So exactly where the break started, it eventually came back in. With that same thesis, it would be easy to say, okay, at some point we're going to come back to the $9 to 10 area. If that's going to be true, it doesn't seem like that's going to be today. I was jokingly saying to Brendan, I wonder when the short report's going to come out on BlackBerry. My guess is 1 or 2 days after it's had a big retracement. Either way, you're still probably looking at breakouts. It's a tight consolidation, but it's still higher than previous close. It had one intraday pullback, but there hasn't been, and that was immediately bought up yesterday, of course. So it hasn't really had that gap down and then sort of fall yet, which I think at some point you're likely to see. I look at this 13.25; it's an even level. It gives you a break opportunity. I think maybe if it were to fall, you're looking at a 12. Those are the two sort of obvious prices that I had written down. So 12 to 12.30, I should say, is a bit of a range. So I'll be looking for the breakout trade on BlackBerry today. You're just playing a pure momentum here at this point. The day it rolls over, I'm definitely going to be try to be involved. I'm going to put in the back of my mind that at some point that 9 to 10 area could come all the way back into play. It's not seeming very likely. It actually might settle higher than that, especially if this continues for a few more days.
So you're taking that break through 13.25?
Yeah, it's the thing about it, actually, you might remember this when we started on the show. Before we did YouTube, there was a trade on anytime you had a volatile stock or a big gap or whatnot, and you got a tight pre-market range. Taking a break like this gave you a bit of a tight stop area here, so you could use even $13. You can use the bottom here at a 12.75. It gave you some obvious sort of targets, and I like to be able to know exactly where I'm wrong on a trade first. But actually, I should get that order in right now because it looks like we just tested 22.23, so I don't want to miss this one.
Yeah, no, I was just asking because I was going to try to take this long as well if it does break. And look, let's just play the momentum. I mean, I have no idea. You're up 6.5%. Oh, you know what? I changed my chart to try to fix these things here. And I don't have on here absolute change. There we go. Maybe that's what's missing. So you're up 85 cents here today, 6.92%, 7%, let's call it that. 13.25 coming into play again. We saw what it did yesterday off the open. We had some big winners. Yeah, I mean, we've made enough money that we can maybe buy a oh, they're not making new phones, right? It's just the operating system, I guess, and all those patents that they're selling. This was yesterday, so we had a base, and then we broke it, and I think that's kind of what we're looking for today. So it's building this base. base yesterday. The only problem is yesterday it was 10 to 1050 was the base before breaking out to 11.20. And now today, I feel like you're getting kind of the same base there. And see, there it goes. My stop order did not.
Yeah, I just went in manually because my stop didn't trigger, but I was able to get 26s there on a manual trade. So I am in BlackBerry, but not because my stop actually hit there. So we're just going to try and play the momentum. I'll try to scalp a portion of this. Obviously 1350 looms large as a psychological level to the upside, but we've seen what this thing can do before, and it's worth holding a portion.
We'll move on to the next one here. Jump down to Procter & Gamble. A couple of earnings reports to get through. P&G and also Morgan Stanley reporting this morning. Better than expected results for Procter & Gamble, benefiting from higher demand for cleaning products, obviously, during the pandemic. They also increased their full-year sales forecast and also increased their full-year 21 per share forecast as well, which was very positive initially, but we're seeing PG back to the downside here this morning.
Yeah, I'm just messaging our IT team here because I mean, if these stops aren't going to work, it's going to be very, very dangerous to trade here in the pre-market. But okay, we'll go on because that's not your guys' problem. That's my problem. Okay, Procter & Gamble up nicely. Look, I mean, this is not a day trade. I love Procter for a longer-term hold. Obviously, I think that they're in the right space. Now, the thing about Procter & Gamble is very, very simple. You know, right now, I don't think it's a reopening play at all. So, because again, I think Procter was a little bit fire. You can see the stock, not a little bit, I mean, it was. It caught fire here from these bottoms. Let me see if I can zoom out more. You can even see, like, these are big moves here for Procter from the bottom. 101 up to 145. You know, this is kind of just a bellwether stock. The only thing is here, you've seen it struggle now that the vaccine is coming through, and it's basically 140 to 135, and now we get the breakdown. It's just less people at home, you know, less of their products being bought. I mean, it is what it is. I think that's probably the rhetoric there that we can go with. And then, like I said, if you zoom back this a little bit more, we are breaking down out of this range. It had to hold 135 right there. It didn't. So the last couple of days, it's been breaking down. So I would say that this is a sell today, no matter what. You can see what's happened here. I guess people have agreed with me on that one. I think Procter & Gamble's a sell. I don't even have it written down on yield sheet here, so I'm not going to be trading this one too much today, but it is 293,000 shares. And if I look back here, it's not on the imbalance locator. AMC still running the show right now, up to 238. How much is that, 10% now? Yeah, just crossed 10%. So Procter, for me, hands off, but I do like the trade if you're going to start to build a portfolio. That dividend is safe, it's strong, but honestly, like if you're going to play dividends, man, I like J&J. I like a whole bunch of different names. I always talk about those, so stay tuned for more. Even a softie or an Apple.
Procter is a good one, Sean. I mean, the thing I will say about this is because it was such a stay-at-home type of kind of a stay-at-home play. You do look at when it got back to the March highs and it got to this like 126 before 126, 127 before that breakout. And so all over it when it comes back down there. I mean, if it continues this trend and you can buy in front of that 125, I think that just looks like an absolutely gorgeous spot to wait around for. I just scalped a little bit off of BlackBerry. There was 100,000 seller that showed up at 30 for a brief moment. I didn't see whether it got filled or whether they're just messing around, but it is still at buy-in balance. It's trying to churn higher, but the momentum a little bit sluggish here, but there's still 18 minutes to the open, so we can hang on.
All right, guys, we'll talk Morgan Stanley here. We've had pretty much all of the big banks now reporting. Morgan Stanley posting a 57% rise in fourth quarter profit, easily topping estimates similar to Goldman, benefiting from higher trading revenue during the quarter. Net revenue, $13.6 billion in the quarter. That was compared to $10.8 billion in the same period last year for MS.
Yeah, I mean, you know, sort of after there was, you know, the stress test. Of course, we talked about that particular catalyst. So you've essentially got a good return already. You got your 15% return here. We did not break out of this 74 to 77 range. I mean, it's just even with, and this tends to happen with the banks, and if you're the late one reporting. You know, the bigger and better moves tend to happen with the first a few, and you might have seen that sort of already play out. We're up a couple of percent, but until you break out of the 74, 77, probably not going to be worth too much of anything on Morgan Stanley. If anything, it gets sold off. Maybe it's going to be a bit of a swing down and around that 74 price. I'm gonna be hands off on this one. I think there's some sense to, and this I mean, if you're not into Bank of America, there's some sense that, you know, maybe you could trim one of the better names here and then pick up a laggard, put some money into a laggard like Bank of America. We'll see if that actually bears out. I like Morgan Stanley still. I just think if you didn't take profit, you know, from that December trade, today's not a horrible day to do it. Certainly, you're not seeing a heck of a lot of follow through. There'll be a breakout at some point. I'm not betting on it happening today here in Morgan Stanley.
Yeah, I like 77. I mean, we've been talking about Morgan versus JP versus Goldman versus all these jokers all in one basket here. And yeah, we knew Morgan Stanley's trading side would be big, and it was. So again, congratulations. Only up that 1.73%. Like I said, might not be great for day trading. You see how choppy it's been. It hasn't been great, although that's a nice move there. And what was this? That was a nice move, and then a bottom before reaching new highs there. So this is a good little level to play off of for sure, 76. So if we can get down there, looks like we're coming down right now. But the banks haven't been a great trade. I mean, look at JP Morgan as well. Lately, it's not really doing much here on the 3-minute chart. You're up a little bit, pure chop, 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 chop. Even since the earnings report there, the banks have come down a little bit. This is JP Morgan. Let's check out Morgan Stanley there. A nice little run to the high side. It's been great. Like I recommended JP Morgan sub 100. That's only a 40% move. I guess the moves are the same. This is 50. There's the base up to 75. So I think there's profit taking. This is 73 right there. A little ways to go before that. Banks are exciting, but not exciting for me to make this trade today. There's just too many other things happening. GM, BABA, AMC, BlackBerry, Tesla, things like that. Let's just check back in before we go back to Brendan here on Tesla quickly. Still 598 to the high side, or sorry, 859. 598, like reading the numbers the wrong way there. 859, I think we could get this break, guys. That's 862, 863. I like Tesla here. It's starting to go. Look at the NASDAQ. And again, we started the show, Brendan. We said, what do you think the market's going to do? I said we're just going to keep going higher, it looks like, today with, I think, some of those NASDAQ names. I put in a bid in my own account before the show started, compliance, so don't worry, to get some Facebook, and it missed. I was trying to buy some 265s. I didn't get filled on that one. So Facebook, I think, is off to the races today, guys. Look at the NASDAQ still bumping higher. It's going to be a big day, I feel.
All right, speaking of higher, AMC, we mentioned over the past couple of days, they announced yesterday they raised an additional $100 million in secured debt to help with operations going forward. Obviously, not too many people going to theaters anytime soon, guys, but we've seen quite the move here for AMC over the past couple days.
Hell yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, so I bought calls in this the last couple days. Actually, not the last couple days. It was Friday down here. I bought some calls, and yeah, it's been a monster. I'll look to get them out today, though, guys. I mean, it's been a huge run up. We did touch that 350. The thing about AMC is it's a play on, okay, let's go BlackBerry. Here we go. It's a play on the reopen, and that's it, right? So I don't know. They're still in debt. They still have a lot of problems. They just got some refinancing yesterday. That caused a little bit of a boom up there. I think this stock is 1 or 2 upgrades away from getting to that $4 mark. And I know there's a lot of you guys looking, and these are beautiful bottoms, right? Like, if I didn't have calls, I would probably stay in. It's just they expire at some point. So you got to watch out for this move to the high side. They're actually the end of February. So I do have a lot of room here. I think, we're above that 50 period. I know it's all falsified. Someone yesterday said, Sean, you got to mention Wall Street Bets. You got to mention Reddit. You got to mention the fact that these stocks are getting hyped up. But do I really? I mean, if you're watching the show, you know about this. There's short squeezes on top. We ask Brendan all the time for the short interest in some of these names. And it's getting squeezed up there. And I just think that if you're not educated about it, then you could get caught. So I cannot recommend buying unless you're just going to play for the momentum to go to the high side. Like, I can't recommend buying and holding. I would never hold this stock unless you're playing options overnight, because you could wake up the next day and you're down that 20, 30%. As long as you understand that that's the risk that you hold, then I think this is a fun game, and I like playing it. So we're long right now. That top is 350. You guys know I love 50s. I lost a hell of a lot of money going long off the open yesterday and then made a decent amount back. So let's see. Maybe it does fall into this 3 area and we can pick some up on the cheap. But I like a 350 break if it happens.
Yeah, I mean, that 350, like there was some gamesmanship this morning I was mentioning with some of the order flow off that 350 level. Certainly, if you're looking for a healthier company, we've talked about Cinemark. Every single time AMC used to pop, like the first thing out of our mouths was like, watch Cinemark there and see if it's worth a better opportunity to buy and hold. If there's a big break and if there's a big time squeeze, I've scalped along. I'll be out of it if it breaks that 350 and into a new trade potentially. But if we do get another breakout, I'm going to be looking at that 450 level. If those have been following long enough, several times we've played around with that level to the short side, and then way earlier in the summer there was some really, really good support and then a breakout through that same 450 price. So if it gets there, I think it's going to be another actionable trade. It would take a lot because we're $1 away from that range, but with these sort of squeeze plays, you never really know what can happen when it comes to momentum.
All right, we did mention we were going to double check the short interest on Netflix. It's actually very small, 1.7%. For Netflix. Going to check on BlackBerry here in a second as well, but Netflix only 1.7% on the short side. Baidu, guys, more positive developments when it comes to the Baidu going into the EV space this morning. They announced a deal with WM Motors to mass produce pure electric sports utility vehicles that have autonomous parking. So they already have this product developed that will park your car for you if you don't feel like you want to, I guess.
There's a joke in there that I shouldn't make. But interesting thing, Baidu here. If you look at the not the daily, but the 15-minute chart, the daily might show you the same picture. You're sort of looking at this top that just has been faded hard every single time. You get to this like 257, 258, and there's just been sharp pullbacks. So we're geared up for another test today. I have 257.50 written down as sort of like it's going to be that like line in the sand price. If we break this, it just feels like Baidu every single time has been a short off of that level. If you catch it, you give it to like this 261 top in the pre-market or like to 216, whichever you like. And then if we actually break out, you can use it as a bit of a support level. So it's a very similar trade. Now Baidu is not a name that I would take in the pre-market. I usually stay away from it. There's a 9-cent spread. Usually it might be a little bit bigger than that, but I've never had any success with this one getting in pre-market. The one time I did, it was just an absolute sort of gong show. But still holding on to that BlackBerry. I think Baidu, if it gets much like that Netflix sort of idea, if it does break that low at the open, it could be a bit of a pullback here. But now overall, I like these tight consolidations on a gapper play where the risk to reward in either direction is pretty good, and Baidu has the catalyst as well.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Palantir, guys. I see a lot of people asking about Palantir here, and congratulations again to anybody that's in this name with me. You're up another 2.5% today. Hopefully 2.5. That was 2.25 there, 2.25. Look, it's breaking out. Obviously, we've talked about that. These little bottoms, we were buyers down here. This is where we're long down here, embarrassingly low. But hey, we'll take it. It's always nice to have wins. And then now Palantir, it still needs this 29.25. It needs to get up here. But yeah, we're celebrating that win. You guys want to talk about it? There's that 2.5%. Look, I'm hoping that we can buy it near VWAP right here, near 27 and change. But it is breaking to the high side right now. We did stop at 28 yesterday, or 2 days ago, sorry. That was a long, we had this whole long, by the way, all the way. We actually long in the pre-market down here somewhere 2 days ago, had this whole thing out of the long side. And then if you look at what happened yesterday, it was starting to ramp up here in the pre-market, very similar to what's happening today. And then you get an explosion from 26.50 up to 27.50 basically, and then stopped on a dime and came back in. Yes, sir. Just took a nice little 15-cent win there. Well, now it's 15 cents in the money, 10-cent win on BlackBerry to start the day, so that's a good start for us. And yeah, so I don't know, 27.50 looks very nice to me again. That's that high yesterday. Again, I mean, we just broke that spot there, 27.15. That would have been a fantastic long. 8 minutes to go. Still early. I don't want to see this take out 27.50 right off the open. I'd rather it kind of hang out here a little bit and then blast it. So that's what I'm looking for to happen on Palantir. Is it even on here? Yes, just another day with another bid side there on Palantir. Check out BlackBerry. Nice little out there. This is a 3-minute, oops. This is a 3-minute chart, so we'll look at a 1. I do have some orders to get out, of course, ahead. I thought I was at 45. Where did I get filled? I got filled 39 there, so 10 cents on that, like I said. And then we did go to 45, which was giving us that 15 cents that we talked about. We do have another offer upside as well, so things looking pretty good here as we're already making money on that BlackBerry train. And then Netflix, meh. Just doing nothing. We are here on a 275 break, waiting for it to happen. We're going to use this bottom, 265. We're going to let this one go a little bit. Come on, BlackBerry, let's go. Let's break that 40, 41, 42, and then giddy up on this one to the high side.
All right, guys, we talked about DraftKings and Penn early on this morning. If you joined us right at 8:30, let's touch on them again. Let's come up with a plan here as far as how we can approach trading both DraftKings and Penn today. A number of positive catalysts over the past couple of sessions for both of these. DKNG back to the upside today.
Yes, sir. And look, we talked about this one, well, a little bit at length. We even mentioned Penn for the first time in like a million years. This trade is going to be, if you're going to play it as a day trade, you're going to be looking for the range-bound trade. Just looking at the daily chart, you're still waiting for that 56 break, as Sean has already told you. The only other thing I would maybe have at least a little bit of interest in is this sort of like 54, 50 area. So on the daily, you see that 56 top and looking for potential breakout there. In the event that we can't get to that price, there's always a shot at a quick little like scalp rollover off of this area, 54.50 into this like 55. It was a bit of a turnaround point. Of course, you had the failed break to that high, potentially finally breaking that 56. It fails, consolidates at 55, and then you get the drop. So you might have some resistance in that little price range for a quick little short opportunity. It's very likely that I'll find a safer play in a small cap name if I see a setup like that. So I'm going to have DraftKings up. It's not necessarily going to be the go-to notion for the trade, but that's probably the only thing I'll see unless you get some kind of a crazy dip. Which I'm not expecting to see us dip down to like 51 to 51.50 where you've had support a couple of times. So I'm not anticipating that move. Probably the only play for me would be if we get into 54.50 to 55 range, fail to break 55, and then can catch a short in the middle and then scalp that one for a little bit. That'd be the only trade I'd look at.
Yeah, look, I mean, I already did DraftKings. If you saw us at whatever time it was, 8:30 when we start, that seems like forever now, but it's on 9:25. We just want to get this market open. I've talked about DraftKings here a little bit. It did build this base down here. I said that I think it's a little overdone here, up that 5%. We did top off a couple of days ago at 54.60, so we could definitely look at that area for some support, or sorry, for some resistance to the high side there. But this is DraftKings. This is a 1-minute chart. I don't know. I'm not super excited about this one. I honestly would rather it dip down into this 53 area. I've been getting people into this name, so I like the name moving high. I just wonder if, like why is it up that high? I know we got Michigan yesterday. We talked about this little bump to Michigan right there, but then it faded off the rest of the day. I actually looking at a 53 break to the downside on DraftKings, maybe even a VWAP break, or what is this right here? Yeah, 53, 53.50, 53.40 or so on the downside. Could be wrong here, but I don't like DraftKings in the middle of the day. You guys know that. It's either a break off the open or not really. So I think DraftKings for me, honestly, I'll keep an eye on it. You guys let me know in the chat, but for a day trade today, it's a hard pass.
All right, guys, a couple of little ones on the watch list this morning as well, including this one. APM was up way more than this, up to 560 was the top, 550 below that, and then this kind of 525 was that last lower high, already breaking to the downside. There was positive news, little biotech company, positive news from Health Canada, in fact, on this one today. So APM still kind of grinding downside, needs to hold below 5, guys.
There was another one on the just after DraftKings, CLBS on our watch list. They had what was it? CLBS 16. I don't know. It was a phase two positive result, and it's up 120%. I actually had a trade in this, and it looked like it was a breakdown at this 350 level. I always like to see where there's big sort of like jump offs in some of these names in the pre-market, and there was big buying when I sat down at 7 o'clock off a 350 level. So I kind of looked to see if it fails through that price. I'm usually going to try and short it. It did not actually break much further. Got the money a couple of pennies there, and then came right back. I just got out essentially break even, and I'll look for the same thing to happen. Maybe give it like 10 cents or so. So below 340 on that CLBS, I'm going to like it for the short side. Just worth noting on volume, so far it's holding up at least a little bit nicely. If it tests the top, maybe I'd look at the 420 to the high of day 445, 445 to 450 for potential failed break at the open. If it does that, I like to jump into the short once it fails. But CLBS UPS is also on the radar, another one from our watch list. BlackBerry's back to essentially even here. There actually might be an opportunity for a bit of a dip buy, similar like AMC, that 25 level that I was talking about. BlackBerry might have a similar thing here, either at 13 or 12.75. So I've taken profit like Sean on the way up to that 13.40 to 13.50. I think the next step would be to anticipate a potential bounce off the open around that 13, at least at first, and then maybe even 12.75.
Okay, we're going to take a very, very small long here on NEO if it does break above 60. I wrote down initially 59.50. There goes Netflix to the downside. I mean, I knew that stock was going to fade off at some point, but we did try a high there. Whatever. There it is at the bottom there, 59.50 for NEO at the very bottom there. So, yeah, it did break that level. Again, you know, instead of getting into Netflix, we should have gone into NEO there. But we'll take a very, very small bid. Generally, we like to play the dips here off the open. You can see a dip down here, obviously a dip that continued to go there. So I'll take a little bit of NEO once we do break that 50 at 60. We'll see that, but then I do think there is a chance here that we can get long near this 59, which would be pretty sweet. This is a 3-minute chart if we could take that. Again, you may see me get into NEO, but it's going to be small on a 60 break. I don't trust these imbalances. We've talked about that all the time, but I do trust these levels. So if we can get back down 59.20 and change, we will take that on NIO. Okay, so it's still AMC, it's still BlackBerry. Let's check in on NASDAQ imbalances here. We'll sort by size. SNDL with a bid, naked as well. Other than that, Bingo with a little bit of a bid down there as well. So AAL, but all bids, small sells. So the imbalances look to be good. We have 30 seconds to go. Let's get our orders downside here for NEO, guys.
And just one from yesterday. The last couple of days, SENS, SENS, there were some good shorts in the pre-market when it rolled over hard at 335, 340. It's right back up at that price. I'm looking for a pop into like 345, 350 at the open. If it does that and then fades, I'm going to jump into the short once again on this name. Ms. V just got up and like sprinted over to make sure she got to the bell in time. She ran. But let's see if we can't get this open started. It is hump day. She's got the green. Hopefully it's a green day. 3, 2, 1. I just actually got into Netflix. Oh, the other one.
All right, here we go. Yeah, Netflix is making moves to the downside right now and going pretty far. 264. We still have this trade on, so we'll wait to see. I don't know where my out was there. Oh, yeah, that's right. They're not really working, are they?
Dirty.
Okay, yeah, so 264.50 there on the downside. Let's wait to see what happens to Netflix, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Netflix immediately went like deep in the money for me, and then I couldn't even get. I actually had a bid at 564. I had just thrown it out there, and then didn't catch the fill. So 567.50 broke. I had a chance to quickly try to get the $3 win, and then but as soon as I threw the bid out there, immediately missed it. So I'm still in this one. It's basically teetering around flat, at least for the time being. BlackBerry dipped down, but I don't think it got to 13. At least I didn't see it do that for the dip buy.
No, I don't have anything there. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Did it?
So, no, I don't know what just happened there. Oh, I got triggered in, I guess, on something. 13.25. I don't know. I guess we had a bid there. So we are now long on Netflix, or sorry, BlackBerry, again. So 13.25. We take that. We'll defend this bottom and see where we go on BlackBerry, guys.
Yeah, and then, you know what? I'm just going to have to get a little bit more aggressive here on Netflix to make sure we can scalp some of it out there. I did miss the dip buy on BlackBerry, but we'll do a bit of a backflip. The 567.5 on Netflix. We'll get like 2.5, just a little bit more than that, and then see if we can't hold the rest of BlackBerry's on the move for sure. That's a little loud, guys, but it's worth the celebration. BlackBerry got up to that 13.45 before turning around again.
Yeah, exactly, and we have that one. So yeah, the hot dog celebration is in the building right now, and yeah, BlackBerry, a nice little win. We're long. You can see where we're long right now, guys. It's a nice little trade for us. Long 13.26. We just took them out in the 40s and the 50s there. So we're hoping for big returns on that one. I don't know what's going on here because my Netflix order should go out and come out, but it's not. So Netflix, we'll have to play that ourselves on the downside here on the stop order for Netflix. Does not get triggered and does not go out there. So we're gonna wait on that one, but Netflix still going. All right, what else do we have here? BlackBerry's fading back in. Yeah. Palantir, 27 longs, guys. We have it.
Yeah, and just so AMC, I kind of forgot about that one already. AMC triggers down that 325 order, so I was able to scalp some for a win a couple of times. Now we've hit the bottom, but we held 315. This was pre-market lows here at 315. That looks like it's going to be a good actionable level here on AMC, just the same way that 325 was. Brendan, what do you got for us?
Li Auto, guys, very strong off the bat here. Lots of volume coming into the upside. We broke 37, which is this last kind of line in the sand, that last pivot on the daily chart. Coming back in now, but a little bit of relative strength so far in Li Auto.
All right, we're going to take some profits here on Palantir if we're lucky enough to get some. We'll take some 08s and some 09s. We were looking for a little bit more there on this trade, so we will wait to see if we can get that. We just took a little bit out there. We're long at 27.02. We took some out at 10 there. It did go as high as 15. We're gonna have to wait to see if that's gonna do anything. There goes BlackBerry, guys, again to the high side. So yeah, we got another win, man. We're gonna slay this dragon, it looks like, on BlackBerry, if it can get going here to the high side. Still more to come on this beloved name, hopefully. Netflix,
yes,
not doing much. We are still long at 575, so we'll see if that one can come back up. We're using 563.50 as our bottom. Hasn't hit yet, so we're all good on that one. Palantir, we just got more long here as it's breaking. Watch out. Our outs are down here, man, 26.80 or so.
Yeah, Netflix, a bit of a frustrating trade. I'll have to zoom in here so you can see. It did come all the way back. I just threw a stop in there, and it just immediately triggered. I got basically top wick on this move, and it's going to continue to flush to the downside. I like Netflix for a sell. Unfortunately, we're only going to get the $2.50 out of it. This should have been like a $10 winner, but I was a little bit too hair-triggered on it. BlackBerry continues to push to the upside. It just broke that 50, so I'm going to take some shares out if I can on the top side of that move. I did get some in front of that 50. We missed the chance to dip by. I said 13. 13.10 looks like it was a level. It never actually got to 13 even, guys. Brendan?
Chinese names leading so far, including this one. We talked about Baidu and Alibaba. Here's JD.com. Big pop through 94 there on a volume alert, guys, for JD.
Into Neo now, we're into Palantir, a big win on Palantir, a 26-cent win now on BlackBerry. So we'll just keep taking these out, guys. That's been a big one, a big banger. We lose on Netflix there. I'll never take a pre-market trade on this stupid stock again. We talked about that. We did get out on that 263 break. Now it's coming back in, but that's our only loser right now. BlackBerry, a big win for us. Neo is a big position, so maybe we need to take some out here as we go. Neo, we averaged in there. Oh, it did break 60. That's okay. That was a really, really small position. This is what, I mean, you can see my average price right now, 34s. So it's in the money nicely now. We'll see if we can make this back on NIO. Hopefully it can go to the high side. Look at the futures, guys, ripping right now. So it's Rip City here. We just need some of these stocks to go. Netflix, the only loser on it. Now it's bouncing again.
Yeah, we're going to go Superman action on that CLBS. Quickly talked about the levels here. It did that. It gave you the pop right into this like 380 area. I like fading those moves right into 930. Don't average into the short going into 930. Wait for it to turn around at a key price. It does. I'm able to get some shares at 66. I just scalped them out for 30-cent win. Going to hang on to the rest in CLBS here. I do want to go to Alibaba if I can. We did say it didn't see much of a trade. I apologize for that. Wick. Baba, whippy. Up and down through 265 to 269 several times. So I feel it's not about vindication. I just feel like if I'd been involved in that trade, I would have been whipped around rather heavily. DraftKings, to get back to this name. So it wasn't the dip that, I mean, look, I said there's not much of a chance that it'll get down to like 51, but it didn't go it wasn't that far away. It got to 52.65 here, so, and then bought up. I'm still looking at that 54 to 54 half area, sorry, 54.50 to 55 area if it bounces back to the upside for a fade trade, but it looks like it's going to test a little bit lower than that in the next few minutes here after a bit of a fall, more than I expected. Brendan?
We're expecting some of the clean energy names to be strong today, but this one not so much so far. Big move up yesterday for Westwater Resources, but WWR back down 12%, guys.
Water Resources. Yeah, people have been texting me or messaging me about that one as well. Okay, so Neo does come out, falls right on its face, and we get out again at that 59 break. So we took a shot on that one. No workout, as my grandmother says, my Italian grandmother. Their Nana, their Nonno coming through, 55, 59, 30 there. I don't know. Can we keep going long on Neo? We'll see if that one's going to come in. Palantir, we did take some nice profits, but now it's breaking back down to the downside. So we have a loser on Netflix and Neo, and I'm trying not to have one on Palantir. I'm just trying to find out where I put the sell in. Yeah, 26.50 break, sell. So if it breaks back downside, we will get out of some Neo, some Palantir, but right now it's looking okay. GameStop moving around a little bit. Here goes Neo, yep.
I was about to say with GameStop, remember the short sell report came out on GameStop, and for every one of these big reports that comes, the second day is huge. If it finds a bottom on that day, usually the shorts get broken. So I'm watching this like 36.50, and apologies we didn't talk about, 36.40, apologies we didn't talk about this one. I had this one written down. If it gets 36.40, I know we're a couple of dollars away. That's where we'll be looking to short it. If we break the high and then start running to the upside, again, pure momentum plays there. BlackBerry still continuing to hold. It just misses every single chance for me to get a dip buy, but we're still hanging on to these 25 breaks.
Yeah, we're doing good on BlackBerry here. We still have that 10-cent win. And Palantir's trying to go, guys. So we'll wait to see on that one. There goes NEO. We take another stab at it here through 59.25. Let's just give that one more chance here to see if it wants to go. It is. That might have been a short opportunity right there. It's just about what do we think about this stock. And yeah, it's coming back to the downside now. So we're taking another shot at NEO here and just wait to see. But I don't want to get rid of this if it goes a bit down too low here. What are some of these bottoms? I can't hold it this low. 58.50 here. Let's just see what happens with NEO. Damn it. What's up, Brent?
My daily chart is frozen, guys, but I'll show you Lithium America here, down 14%. We talked about Halt, Premarket. They announced an offering testing day lows as we speak here for LAC.
Oh, we don't need charts, Brendan. I kid, of course. I want to go to Baidu here, and looks like the break is to that upside. It was a choppy one, but 261 goes. I was looking at bracket, but the only stop that I actually had in, similar to Netflix, was that 257.50 bottom break. I just went ahead and canceled that. After the top is gone, I throw the other end of that trade out, right? So it was a consolidation off the top. Once it breaks the high or breaks the low, I throw the other side out. It can become a stop on the other trade, but no way I want that entry. It's not going to be the same type of play after the fact. I want to go back to AMC if I can, back to 325, but showing some signs of weakness. We still held that 315 bottom, so if that breaks, I'm actually going to go short through a 315 bottom now that it's held that same level off of the open. Otherwise, let's see if we can't test back up to 350 and not get chopped around in the middle, guys.
Well, I guess our Netflix trade was good. I mean, we're right back to where we were. And this is what I'm saying, guys. Like, see, I would have, normally I don't have the order there, but that's normally, I would have probably took that 575 break. It goes right to 577 now after building that bottom. At least we didn't take the very bottom out there, 550, 560, but we got pretty damn close. That's pretty much the only, decent loser that we have on here so far. Okay, and we are waiting for NEO. We just did craft some out there. So 30s, 35s, 40s. We took some out to the upside. We are a little nervous on this. That's our last position. You can see what we have now, 59.26 there. So still in the money. We're still happy with it. I don't know if it's going to get back to highs, though. The NASDAQ's starting to push, so we do like some of our longs. Palantir's starting to go. We've already cashed out a hell of a lot on BlackBerry, so nothing really to worry about here, but it is fading back down. So I think this is a good spot to get a little bit more out, just so we don't turn winners into losers. But BlackBerry, what a stock today. Not my number one, but close.
Yeah, BlackBerry's been fantastic. It did finally give a dip that tested that 13 area. I was able to I just picked some up off the bottom. Got a quick scalp into the 15s for the first leg. I have some offers into 13.25 just in case this is more of a muted pushback to the upside. Once I've made this pickup here, I know 12.75 remains a level, but I'm always going to give it to like that bottom. So I catch it on the way back up, and then I give it to this low here, which happens to be 93. Looks like that's not going to come into play because we'll line up BlackBerry, and I guess we'll keep knocking this one out of the park. Just got some more shares out of 13.27, right around that quarter mark. GameStop, I only talked about it in one direction, I think, the breakdown trade, but it is going sort of screaming to the upside now. Here we go. Just to have a quick look here, I did mention if it does break the high of the day, it's worth a look. I didn't have a stop order. I was just putting the short one in, but I do like this 39 break. That was the end of the trade. If it comes back or even holds here, I will take a shot at GameStop. I said that second day is key. If it finds the bottom, usually it's pretty good, but watch out how much room you give this. I will not give it all the way down to the 36 low. I want to risk about $1 on this because I think we can get to 42 here, so it's around like a 2-to-1 win-loss ratio in the event that we're maybe squeezing again. I'm not sure, but I'm going to take my shot here on a day 2 play post short sell report. Brendan?
Yet another Chinese name moving here, guys. IQ. That is not IQ. This is IQ. We'll make that big. 5% here, straight to the upside. 1950 held at the bottom this morning, and then straight higher for IQ. Another one moving.
Okay, guys, we're going to hit that bang there. Bang for NEO. It's finally going up, but whatever. We've lost on that one, so we won't do that too much. But here we go, man. Palantir, beautiful. We held through all of this. We were going to give it down to 26.50. It holds that. Now we wait for the upside. I think 27.50 still to come here on Palantir. Could be a good little play. So let's watch out for that 27.50 area on Palantir. NEO, we're now 12 cents in the money, so hell yeah on that one as well. We'll see how high this one wants to go. So this is making us some of that money back. And yeah, it's been a pretty good one. The only thing that I'm really upset about here, Was Netflix. Should not have got in that one early. We talked about why, and yeah, so we'll learn from that mistake and trade it better next time. By next time, I mean next trade. Palantir out at 20 there. Look, this stock, it can get real choppy, guys. It's either going to go for that run or it's not. Let's take out some profits, 25, 30 cents right now. Pretty good on Palantir. We've defended that 27. We got some more on that break. It only goes against us like 15 pennies. Now we're in the money 30 pennies, so definitely worth taking there. NEO now in the money 30 pennies, so those lined up for us. We did see this dip. Forget about this. That was a stupid little test. Nothing really lost on that, but it was this position that lost us.
Well,
we get out there and then right to the upside. BlackBerry's moving again.
It just for a second there, it looked pretty weak there. I have two trades I'm looking at right now. CLBS at this $4 range, but actually just got reversed into BlackBerry when it broke that 90s to look really weak on the offer. Brennan?
Another one to look at, guys. We mentioned WWR not strong. This one, wow. OPTT having a nice day. Ocean Power here, 11%. Just broke 370. Their big volume came in as well at day highs.
All right. We just took some out at 50 there for NEO, so that was a good trade there. We're watching this one to the high side right now. Good trade for us, long 59.26. And some good outs on Palantir. Again, we already talked about that, but we got to find some more stocks to trade. AMC not doing much. Heading to the downside now, it looks like. It did stop out at 13. There it is. So we are long now, AMC. We just got into that one, defending this $3 level, guys. Let's see how far it goes.
Yeah, I mean, for that 315 once it went, I wanted to scalp into that $3 level, so I actually just picked that one up. At the same time that BlackBerry was breaking that low AMC one as well, but it looks like BlackBerry for now is holding that 1275 area. You know, I saw the weakness on the level 2 range, and anytime I take that trade, and I'm going to get out of it and then talk about it here, because anytime I see that, I had a 1275 bounce idea. I saw the level 2 indicating that it might be a bit of a short, so I got into the short, and then realized no, that's right into support. So throw that trade away. If it had melted in that exact moment, fair enough. But the fact that it held up, not going to dig in too deep. Just got into AMC through 315. We talked about some of the levels there a little bit earlier. That was that pre-market low that couldn't break. So I want to scalp this to $3 and then have a look, see what happens at that price. It closed at 306. That'll be a psychological level as well. So we'll scalp some of this on AMC. It looks like a good out on BlackBerry because that's headed right back up to 13 even.
Yeah, exactly. BlackBerry, good trade there for us today. We're holding a very small amount, but we are still in it. Palantir. Okay, so just to talk here, we are into AMC. I think we should get some out if it does get back into the high teens here. So I have some offers to get out if that does happen. We're long at 11. I want to get some more. We'll just see though. I mean, it looks like the trade here may be over. I don't know. Are the pumpers done on AMC? We will see. We do go in the money now, 2 pennies, 3 pennies. Hopefully 4 and 5 pennies, so we can get out a little bit here on AMC. But it's moving. That's a new idea that we had there for this name. So we're going to watch that, see if it can get back to that 320 area here. Like this bottom is pretty good, 326. So we'll see if we can get back to that.
Yeah, just going back to Alibaba, it's still just a choppy trade here. I thought maybe there's a shot at a rollover. The longer it takes to maybe have a shot at breaking through the high, the more I'm thinking you might have to think about that 265 for the bottom, guys. It's going to be an interesting one, certainly. I don't think it'll hold this range for the entirety of the day. Brennan had mentioned APM. This just popped up on my radar because it just spiked up right into like 460. I like when these make a test. Some of these pre-market levels, and certainly there was a bit of a rollover at 5 even. Also this like 470 area that we just broke through. So if we fail at either one of those, it would have to turn right now for the 470. Otherwise, if it turns at $5, APM for me is going to be on the radar. That was a big volume spike, and it just came up like 50 pennies or so 10% move just now in APM.
Okay, we're just scalping out for a nice little win here on AMC. So we're going to celebrate it too because, again, it's all about how many shares you have, right? So 311 up to 318, 319. We'll take it for sure. Okay, so BlackBerry goes downside. We are now short this name, so let's get a little bit out here. We go short BlackBerry 75s. Here it comes, 73s, 74s. It's been a good stock for me today. One of my top stocks has been BlackBerry. So now, hopefully the steam is, not hopefully, but we'll see if the steam is out of this one here on that short side now on BlackBerry, breaking that bottom. So I think we can probably hold this for a little bit here. Hopefully AMC doesn't have the same fate going down, but Here goes BlackBerry now. Looking at yesterday's close, man, 1234, 1235 down here. If we can retrace all the way back to that, then we'll be a happy camper. So let's wait to see on BlackBerry that are out about right here. VWAP 1315, guys. What up, Beep?
Big mover yesterday, guys. Back to the downside slightly so far. Sens, if you remember, we mentioned this a couple of times. There was buying initially up to 4, but coming back in a hurry. Volume picking up to the downside for Sens, guys.
Oh, I can't believe it. It was a bit of a stronger move than I was anticipating off the open. I wanted to have this one if it was 350 that it turned, but it ended up being the high of day. Anytime the high of day fails and we get back below VWAP, I'm going to usually short off of that VWAP. Just remember 340 was definitely a cluster area. We talk about these clusters for good entry points and trend reversals. So below 350 is a bit of a trap because 340, a big level on that Sens. I got into BlackBerry. My stop at 1275 didn't trigger, but I was able to get in manually. Hence, I have an average price of 79. Probably should be like a 74, but every now and then you get a bank error in your favor. Someone was asking in the chat, the long and the short, long position means we bought the stock hoping it goes up, and the shorts just mean we are currently in the shorts. We've short sold it at that price and looking for the stock to dip. So those will update real time, so you will see our positions in real time. You should see me trigger into SENS. If it breaks that 340 again. If there is a pop into 365 in consolidation, I'll probably look to fade that as well.
All right, we'll spin the money up a little bit here. For AMC. It's been a big trade there for me. The only time we've got into this one is right now. So AMC, a good win here. 11s up to 20s. We take that out. We talked about that getting out there. If we can get 27s, 28s, then we're laughing on AMC in my opinion. So a good trade there. We took it out. We're half in right now on AMC. BlackBerry's coming back to the downside. We may have to watch out for this 1315 level, or sorry, back to the upside. We are short. We have to wait for this 1315 level. Positive on BlackBerry today for sure. Will come into jeopardy if that does come back to the upside. So we've got to be very, very careful with that one. And as it looks like BlackBerry right now coming back high side right now. What's up, B?
XPEV, we mentioned Li Auto early on, guys. This one as well, 6% just popping up on volume. You can see as we broke through 58, but immediately rejected there back to 57. But still, big move for XPEV, guys.
Yeah, just got into that SENS here a couple of times, couple of entry points below that 40 mark. Average price going to work out to 30.80s, you'll see. I'll scalp this one all the way down to 3 even. My shorts in the pre-market could not really break past that price. There was one break. It got like 97, 98 before turning right around. So I'll definitely make sure I take profit on the way to that price. You just want to make sure that you don't know how deep his move is going to come or where the bid is going to step in, but if you anticipate that there will be a bid around 3 like there was before, you want to profit from the move and not turn a winning trade into a loser. Just because it is bank earning day, there was that 77 break on Morgan Stanley, but as quickly as it came, as quickly as it went, it came all the way back in. So the same boring trade on Morgan. If 77 doesn't break, you're probably to test that 74, which is not necessarily the worst price. There's definitely been support the last week on Morgan Stanley at 74 if it comes down any further.
Yeah, Morgan Stanley there with all-time highs right now. So a big trade there. Congratulations, anybody with us or with anything on Morgan Stanley. Great call. Okay, so we did average in now. So we just took a nice position there. And you can see by what our position is, 26.83 right now is the position here on Palantir. So we just took some shares at 80. So that gives us a nice little average price. I'm still using this bottom here, 50, to see if that breaks. I'm not going to give it down to 35. We'll just play off an even level. You guys know I like to play those 50 levels, so we'll do it once again here on Palantir, but it's been pretty weak. It started off pretty strong, as you guys saw there, and I said this happens to Palantir, right? We played the dip, we got out, so this is my number one stock today, obviously. We got out near that VWAP. It did break down, and now we're averaged in. We're holding for that 27.50. Again, no idea if this is going to work for us or not, but that's Palantir right now. AMC, good thing we got out. It is coming back down a little bit here, but I still like the name. AMC, let's see what we can do. Get a little more off here at 16. Look, 5 cents, we'll take it. Again, play your positions and your share sizes, not ours. I'm just trying to give you guys some ideas. Hopefully you have this with us. AMC long at 11. Let's take some more off.
Yeah, and just to get back to this CLBS, it was a fantastic immediate short off the open that just came right back to that 380 level. Now we're right back at 380. So if we can break below here, and I'm going to call it like 375 just to give it a little bit more room, I'm going to jump into this one the same way I was looking at that Sens trade. Brendan?
2-day move, if you remember, for this DARE. Another one moving back to the downside here. Just had a volume alert go off through 350. So it was trying to hold as the bid, but back downside still 50% again today. Remember what happened yesterday for DARE?
Yeah, Dare. Okay, let's have a quick look at that one. Yeah, that was a crazy one. I guess it's a NASDAQ stock here. Dare. Wow, 350. Okay, good call here. Come on, charts load up. Okay, Dare.NQ. Let's go. Yeah, nice little move. We could check out yesterday. Let's go to a 3-minute chart just to see how it reacted on the breakout yesterday. So there it is, $1.48. Breaks, high side goes up about $1. So right now we have that consolidation again here, up 45% again from yesterday, back down to $2.40. $3. I mean, if you can get anything down to $3, we look to defend that. $3.20. Let's put some bids down here. $3.20 and change. See if we get long Dare, and then use 3 as our out.
Yeah, and speaking of 3, I'm gonna go to AMC here. It gave a decent trade off that like short of 315. It did stall out in front of this like 305, 306. I stopped out because it was going to be like a quick little scalp trade. And now we're essentially staring that same like $3. 306 was the close, was the bottom right now. But that 306 to 3 even bottom, that's the next level I'll be watching. I just got into CLBS when it broke that 375. So new position alert, 374 shorts. BlackBerry is starting to try to roll over here. If it gets to like a 1250, I'll definitely take some out here. But certainly you have to watch out for both of these breaking to the downside. We're about to go negative on the day here on AMC, but it's a $3 level that concerns me more than that 306 previous close.
Yeah, we just got out of a little bit more there, AMC. Again, we don't want our stocks turning into losers. We get some out there at 305. We'll just wait to see what happens. I mean, our AMC, I'd still like to have another buy in here and then a sell down near 280. So if you break down AMC here, this is like that 280 level that we're talking about, 280, 285. Let's see if we can't buy some more here, 94, 95, something like that if it does crack down. We don't need to get into more right now. So we'll wait on that one. Okay, Palantir does break back down. So look, it looks like we're going to have the worst out again on Palantir. So we do go negative on that. It breaks through 50. And this is the problem when you're using stops, man, and you're not looking at all the stocks at once. It's very, very hard. Like that was not a great out there, but it does break 50 and we put our stop and we do take that hit there on Palantir. Give us another one, Brenda.
Another big mover here, guys. Already gone from a penny stock to above $1, but ADMP, they have a COVID-19 treatment that they're trying to get approved. So big pop here on volume, 50%. ADMP, guys.
Yet another big mover here, and also not a bad idea on days like today where you get some volatility. You're watching a lot of big movers. Have that halt page loaded up just in case you do get a big time halt. Anytime I see a stock go from penny stock to over $1, I'm looking for that 1.25 mark to be a level, but 150 is going to stand out way bigger on ADMP. So I'm kind of hoping it breaks 125. And then gives me a shot at 150, and I'll wait around for that one. CLBS is the short that we actually have on, so we'll go with, I don't know, we'll just throw a backflip for CLBS. I should go to the chart so you guys can see it here. It's starting to make its push, and again, I said I will take profit all the way down to pre-market lows with this type of a trade. That's the plan over with SCNS, so that's going to be the same thing here in CLBS, so it's sort of the same formula. We break and hold above VWAP like that 380 mark, and I would just quickly cover this trade and look for another one at about 420. BlackBerry is rolling over a little bit harder now.
Yeah.
Close enough to that 1250 to start thinking about taking some shares off. It's past that 10%, sorry, that 10 cent. We might start taking profits on this name here. So BlackBerry on the turn, CLBS on the turn, Sens on the turn as well. All three of these to the short side for me.
Yeah, so we took some more AMC defending 3. That looks like a good decision right now. Long 301 there. What's our average price? 304. So we're back into the money now on AMC. We did take some out. It's still a profitable stock for us. So we got to wait to see on the high side right now what AMC wants to do. Hopefully we retrace back again into these teen levels. But now I'm looking at like 310, 308, something like that, like just to get out and make sure that we get some profits here on AMC. Because again, like it was up today 10% or so. You guys saw it up to 350. We did talk about those levels. And now we take a nice little long off of 3 and see what happens. Yeah, we cashed in on BlackBerry, man. Short again. And now we're running. So we go long. We go short. And now we're into this position right here. So let's watch this thing continue to fall. It's a nice little 10 cent, 12 cent win here on BlackBerry. And again, guys, like, cover your positions, where you want to. I think BlackBerry could fall down to 1240, 1250. We do have some more bids, though. If we can break the 60, I'll get out. There it is. A nice, did I get those? Yes, I did. We got some 58. So a little bit of a roller coaster today, but we switch up our game and we go short on BlackBerry. And hell yeah, we crush it on that one. So slaying that dragon, that is this failed telecommunications company.
Ouch. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, it's definitely a different company now, certainly speaking. That LAC, the lithium play, it actually has pulled back further. We talk about this all the time with the offering. Is it well received? I was just about to see if it could hold up and hold these like 23 to 2250 areas. And it just broke 23. It's testing towards that too, so 2250. Again, if it makes a bit of a base and can catch a bit of a breakout, that'd be a different story, but it looks like it's going in the other direction. No support yet on LAC. I just got some more shares out of SCNS as that continues its plunge. Remember, this is like a day 2, day 3 type of idea. This has been on a bigger run, but it gapped up and then basically had a fail break here when getting to $4. That's a sign of weakness for me. Couldn't get through yesterday's. Couldn't get through that $4 range. 390 the top. I just got more shares out in front of 3 even. Which we said will be a bit of a target. I might hold a little bit just to see if we take out the low, but again, it'll be a small portion, like a 10% of the position. I think scalping it makes a heck of a lot more sense on Sens.
Okay, so we just took some out at 10s there on AMC. So yeah, the winners just keep coming in here for us. So good trade there for us on our friend AMC. I'm still holding those. We talked about that again. I'm still holding those options, but they're for late February. I don't know. I hope that run's not over yet. I'd like to get some out on this name if we can. So BlackBerry, 17 cents now in the money and looking at 50s. I don't even have any more bids out. So let's see how low this thing wants to go here. BlackBerry, maybe 1180, something like that. 12, where was it? I said yesterday's close, 1240, or no, yesterday's close, I guess. Where's 4 o'clock? Right here. Yeah, 1235. It was actually 1239. So 1240. Let's put some bids there to see if we can't get out. That'd be a good one. And we are cashing out of some of our AMC, as we say. Welcome to Hydration Nation today. Let's stay hydrated here as we'll take a couple sips of water and then regroup and try to find some more trades for you. Unfortunately, our Netflix trade was bad to start the day. Damn it, it would have been fine. Not really. It's okay. And then Neo was our other loser on board today, and that's still tumbling. Good thing we got out of that one. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's been some movers. My stubble today was going to be on GameStop. I still have another trade that I like here, and I didn't want anything in the middle on GameStop. I wanted the breakout trade. I actually had to catch it on the way sort of back, like it broke, and my stop didn't give me the 39 entry. I still got in at like 39.17, so there's really not much of a difference. I gave it that buck just below VWAP, which I think is a good, reasonable return. The stock, you guys know the stock can move $2, $3, $4 in a matter of minutes. That's why, relatively speaking, a buck might not seem like much. I'm going to have the bottom break here because if you don't find a bid and break out the day after that short seller report, a lot of times it can go the other way. So if we do break the low, I'm still looking to sell 36.50. But it's 10 o'clock, and that means we need to go to Brendan at the big screen for Happening Now.
Hey guys, yeah, just like that, 10 o'clock, let's have a look at North American markets here, still nicely higher on the day, right across the board here. NASDAQ leading the way once again. You can see more than 1% to the upside for both the composite and the 100. The Dow, the S&P, both in positive territory there. Nice day for the S&P, 0.7%, 0.6 for the Russell. Small caps still in positive territory. Here in Toronto, the TSX just barely in positive territory, 0.1%. Same story for the BOVESPA down in Brazil. We'll shift over here if I can one more time, and I'll show you TME. Wanted to talk about 10-cent music. A couple things from the watch list to keep in mind, guys, if you are still following along. We did have a big rejection up here at 28.75 for TME. 27 held as support as well at the bottom. So a heads up if you are trading 10-cent music today, guys. We just got CLBS here. It came back up to 4. There was a bit of a jailbreak at $4. It took it to 4.20. When these put in a lower high, or at least attempt to, I like to play out those even levels if I can. So just jumping into that trade, which, I mean, it's sort of like old hat in terms of an idea. But if it breaks 4, I'll just be out. I'm looking to see if we can just get right back into this like 380 range down to 360. That'll give us a decent return there. Because I have 97s, and it's a really, really tight stop, you're risking like 5 to 10 cents. And that's with a lot of slippage, 10 cents. It's more like 5 usually. It's worth it taking profits starting as early as like a 5 or 6 cent win, which I'll get a little bit more than that, it looks like, on CLBS. This is a name that was on the watch list. We just briefly mentioned it before going to the open, and there it is. I mean, immediately getting that like 10-cent return. If it fades any further, I do want to have something on board if we break 360. I've been trying to be short this name on every single pop and then hold like 10 to 20% in case we get the bigger retrace, because it was a $1.63 stock yesterday. So if the floodgates open up downside, it's still up 136%. So much room if it were to come back in. Speaking of come back down,
There is BlackBerry. I got some more shares on in front of 1250. Now we're just going to hold. Ultimately, there's no, at this point, I'm sort of done with targets. I had like a 12 to 1230 area that might have been interesting for a dip buy. So if there's a big bid at 12, I'll probably get out in front of that. Otherwise, let's see how far BlackBerry comes back. Keep in mind, this all started at like a $7 break, and then previously it was significantly lower than that before. $9 was another one that we talked about. I guess that's really pie in the sky, but you really never know.
Yeah, where's that crystal ball there? Because we've just been lining these up here today on BlackBerry, guys. I don't know what it was. A couple minutes ago, we talked about. I was looking for yesterday's close, and it was 1240. So there we go. We take that out at 1243 there. A nice out on BlackBerry. So now we're very, very light on this one. This is my number one stock today. BlackBerry for the win, it looks like. So good trade there. I just noticed this, and I saw it, Daryl. Thanks for bringing it to my attention there. QS. I'm not in this name. We talked about buying some of this, on its run back up. It's QuantumScape. It's the solid state batteries for the EV. And I thought maybe we were going to start to go for a run. Like, again, I'm not in this name, but I was very, very interested on these first dips down to 50. Now we're back here. This is a little troubling, I think, for QuantumScape here, that for some reason it just fallen straight off a rock. Makes that move back, like down, makes this move back from 48, 49. I mean, I guess the ultimate bottom is 44, 46, back all the way to 73, and now falling again. So I got to do a little more work on this one, but this could be a good little pickup here for anybody interested in QuantumScape. A nice drop down to 50. Now it's trying to resist backside. I had some nice winners on this previously. I actually really like this 51.50 level on QS. If we can get back up to there, it's right where VWAP is. It's yesterday's bottom. Let's let it settle itself out. It may continue to go down, so I'd rather commit a little higher on QS than I need to. So 51.41 or so on QS. A good one. We'll put that order in and see if it fills. No idea where this is going to go, but I do like QuantumScape there. And there goes Ford, guys. Like, congratulations, anybody long this name with me, man. Ford's been such a monster for us. We're long at like 670, 680 on Ford as it's taking out new highs right now.
Yeah, speaking of new highs, CLBS, I wish I had held the reversal. I got some shares out on the bid, as you saw there in the 80s. I then broke 4 even. I got long and then scalped it. Now the high of the day, 450. I'm short in front of that. If it breaks, I'm all off that trade. BlackBerry also pulled back here, so it bounced off 1240. We're right back in that 1260 range. If it does try to take out 13, I will for sure be out of the short as well. You're not going to give it all the way back, but I want to allow this one to maybe that one to go against me maybe a little bit here. 3 even holds. It looks like to the dime. I have a 299 print going off on AMC. I'm going to assume that was a dark pool print. That's why 3 wouldn't have actually triggered there. But either way, 3 remains at the key level for me. I'm waiting on AMC. Brennan.
Some SPAC action for you guys. SSPK, Silver Spike, just popping up here through 20 on a huge volume spike. Just going to check on headlines, but nothing at first glance. SSPK, though, moving on volume.
Okay, just gonna have a quick look there. I got my order locked and loaded on AMC like I just mentioned there. I'm still holding on to this CLBS. It's starting to get a little bit crazy. If you guys are holding, if you're long in this name, I mean, this is like the second time that it's made a run at that 450 top. It just turned heavily. I shorted into this move probably too early. I mean, I shouldn't have started this position at 430. It's usually not a great idea. Probably should have had all my prices around 440. Either way, if it gets back down and breaks 420, I think probably 390 to 4 even looks like it might be a bit of a bounce point. 450 has to be the out here. Anytime you have a double top pre-market high, fades this far. This came already back like 10 or 25% before getting a jump off. It fades that far and comes back in. You do not want to get caught when it breaks the high of the day, which I do not as well.
Yeah, it's probably is a rotation to the old school autos there. I do like that news there, whoever mentioned that. QS bouncing, probably going, I mean, maybe more, hopefully we're long here, Ford. I wouldn't mind new money going into old companies there. Okay, like again, we picked the absolute worst out on Palantir, so if you're following me, that would be a bad one if you got out at 26.50, but if you held, then you're right back into the money because we bought here, got out there. I got to do some more work on some of these lower levels, that's for sure. So again, thinking a 27 break, could be good up to 27.20. So let's see if that does come through. It looks like Ford's going to fade out, back down now through 10.50 once again. What's up, Beep?
Just saw this one from Morgan Stanley, guys, on DraftKings. So a note out just after the open, 9:37 from Morgan Stanley on DraftKings, as I mentioned. 12 states here They're talking about that could legalize gambling, sports betting coming up under the new administration. So 12 states in total, guys.
Yeah. I mean, I even got my dad into that, so that's how you know that we like that one. And DraftKings, Neil, I mean, there's just so much into this name, so much happening for it. I just think there's a lot happening for it, a lot of tailwinds coming for DraftKings, especially those states. But we did see yesterday, this is that bump there on Michigan, and then it just faded back down. So I don't know, maybe if they announce all 12 at once, we could take out this 54.50, but I'm not interested until then.
Yeah, and speaking of not interested until then, I was going to say GameStop is... I can't think of a time in the last few sessions where you could look at a 20 to 30 minute time period and GameStop has this like a 50-cent range. This is going to be hands off until it breaks the low of the day for me. That's a little bit shocking. I really expected to be a little bit more active there. Watch out for Disney, by the way. It's still positive here. But it's looking like it made a double bottom, and we talk about Netflix all we want, of course, but a bit of a double bottom on Disney here, and it looks like it's trying to break out through this 176. It's probably more of a small like scalp dollar trade, but either way, Disney somewhat on the move. If it cannot hold that 175 double bottom as this market reverses, which I don't think is going to happen, I'd watch out. But we do look like we're headed to the upside here, so watch out for some of these staple names and don't ignore them because it looks like there's some solid setups in the less sexy of these names.
Yeah. As a major investor in Disney, me happy with those Netflix numbers, and only means good things, hopefully, for that Disney trade. BlackBerry, again, we're holding 20%, 20, 40, 60, 80. Last 20% ready to go here on BlackBerry. We'll get some out for flat if we can, if we're lucky enough to get this back down to 12.75 or so. Is that where we're long? Yeah, short, 12.75. So we'll get the last bit out here. If it does break above this VWAP, we'll get the rest out of 13. So it'll still be a positive trade for us. As you can see, this was 75. That major out down there, that's 35 cents in the money, right? And so that's a good out. So our loss will only be 25 on the last 20%, meaning that all of these outs are profits. And that's how I trade. You got to make sure that you take some profits on some of these plays, or else, you're sitting there wondering, why didn't I do that? So 12.90, we're going to get this out at 13. If it does break higher, just got to make sure that I have the stop orders out. I have so many out there waiting for Palantir to break 27 possibly. We still have this AMC long, which has been good for us. No losers here on AMC. This one in and out, in again and out. We're waiting for a $3 break on that one. Who knows if that's going to happen. And then Ford right now is not looking great. A 47 break and we're out of that.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at watch out seal, but yes, I did get half out and then it broke the top, and I did not reverse. It was not the plan to reverse on this one to the long side, so occasionally you'll see me do that, not there. I'm watching BlackBerry, hopefully, potentially making a turn here off of VWAP. I know 13 was the last turn, but it just, wow. That was just volume spiked right through, and there was a 100,000 share buyer that caused that move. You know what? I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna take those shares out there because that was just a market buyer, and I didn't have much left in BlackBerry, so I might as well just get out of it and then reassess if that comes back on the bid again. Brendan?
A little telecom company, PCTEL, was just checking on the market cap here. Yeah, it's a small cap. 166 million, guys. PCTI on the NASDAQ, 18% was just halted, resumed under 11 there. Some 5G related news for PCTI, guys.
All right, so now we have AMC long here. We still have that out, downside breaking through 90. So if that's going to happen, then we're going to get out. But we are going to take one more stab here on AMC. Our last bid filled 96. So that's right where we're at right now. We just take the 96 as long. Let's see. It looks like it's breaking back down. I mean, AMC could easily retrace back down to 250, 220. That's sort of where it was hanging out for a very, very long time. Ford comes out as it breaks through 46. We actually get 46s. So that's a 5-cent hit on Ford there. The last little bit we'll get out if it does keep going back down, 43, 44. But we're out on Ford of 80%. So we're going to hold that. That was a loser there on Ford. That's fine. We tried it through that 1050. I think we can try it again if that does happen. But look at this. Again, Brendan, you asked at the beginning like what we thought about the market. I said NASDAQ for the win today, and you can see what's happening right now. It's NASDAQ for the win. Just not me for the win. We should have been long. I talked about Facebook. I tried to get some in the pre-market, 265. Okay, so here it is right back down. So maybe we got some of those longs there. We'll check out our own account after. But Facebook, I don't know what's leading the way here. If NASDAQ's up this much, hopefully when we go to our big board there, we'll find out. But NASDAQ ripping. Is it Apple? Like what? I mean, Apple always leads the way. Yeah, up 2.5%, 220%. There it is. Let's go, Apple. The stock that all of you should own for sure. Apple.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I thought one of these days Tesla's going to make that turn. Tesla's flat on the session, so not participating in this move today. So it is what it is. I did get that short on AMC when it broke 3. I was able to get 99s. I got some out there at 95 to start taking profits at that 5-cent mark, and then it just immediately turned. So that's not the type of momentum that I would have liked to have seen on a break of that $3 range. I guess it was true that 306 was maybe a better price at the first or second time that it went through. I'll see what happens if it gets back to that 305 range. BlackBerry got back down below that 13, but I don't mind getting out of that trade even a little bit after seeing what I saw there. I did not average in. My last entries were all around this sort of 85, so 70 to 85 area. At the best, I got 89s. So getting out at 13, if that happens to be the turn and it comes right back to the downside, no pie on my face. I'm trying to stay positive on BlackBerry here. And I've been going in either direction. I think for now, it still feels like it's trying to be a bit of a short trade, and I might have got tricked by some size there on the bid. We'll see what happens if it retraces down to 1250 though, Brandon.
Apps, guys, Digital Turbine. We've looked at this one a few times on the show before. Big move here, 60 up to 65 in a straight line on higher relative volume. Bit of a technical break above this high as well. Earnings coming up for this one, but no significant news. Just looks like a bit of a technical break here for apps.
Okay, AMC, a nice little run here. If we can get some out, that'd be greatly appreciated here. AMC, there we go. Take some out at 02s and then wait. So we're also at 02s again here. We are long 97, so a good trade there. It never really goes against us at all. I mean, I guess it ticks to 93, but that's just because it runs us over and then comes right back up. So let's see if we get some more 02s. We're sitting on the offer. There it is. Did we get those? Yes, we did. We got part of those out. So that was a nice little trade there at 02. Let's see if we can't go longer now. We're long 97. We could turn our day around off that Ford trade if this can go. But other than that, man, we take a 5-cent hit on Ford. We've just been winning on AMC. So AMC's been a good trade for us today. BlackBerry remains strong. We didn't get out there waiting for 1306 or 7 there on that break where we initially shorted it. But it does break through 13. Obviously, Neil mentioned that. And now I think it's probably a good opportunity to get some out. We have that last 20%. If I can lose 10%, 10 cents on that last 20%, I think I'm winning. So let's just continue to get out some BlackBerry and keep that one in our pocket. GM doing well as well. So lots of stocks doing well for us. We could check back on BABA, but Apple's the real winner today.
Yeah, you can say that. Well, Alibaba's the winner as well. But Apple, like you said, the real winner because the market's just absolutely screaming. NASDAQ approaching 2%, and then we just cracked the 1% mark on the ES. Speaking of Alibaba, if you look at that pre-market high, like this 269 to 270 area, off the open, it tested a couple of times. I know there's some ugly wicks and dark pool prints, but we did get up to this 68, 69 before turning around a couple of times. It looks like it's trying to do another rollover at this particular time. I think below like a 266, you maybe get a bit of a breakdown. That 99 short is just doing absolutely nothing on AMC. I was able to get some, like I said, 95s, but if it doesn't go very quickly, when you get a breakout trade, sometimes time is the way that you want to think about your ins and your outs. And if we haven't broken to the downside in a couple of minutes here, I'll probably just take it out for like a 1 or 2 cent hit instead of risking even the 5 pennies. CLBS, there was the break at that 450. If I had reversed into the long, it would have been good. I had a short bias. That's why the only reason I have not. I've only gone short this name today. We were able to get some profit out at 25 and then some out at 15. So it was a solid trade. Now I'm looking for another playoff of 5 even. It got to like 90s or so before turning around, so not quite close enough to get me into CLBS. If I can come back down. I mentioned this one only in the chat, but I want to let everybody know here. If you're still looking at that ZOM, the volume's still okay at like 37 million shares. Of course, that chart frozen. Watch out if a dollar breaks here. I know 102 is the current low, but just watch out if a dollar breaks on ZOM. The floodgates could open up. Anyone holding the bag on this one might dump at a buck. Brandon, what's up?
Just an update on this Silver Spike Guys SSPK. This is the Weed Maps SPAC, if you remember. No update yet as far as a merger date or finalization date, but 5.5% here, guys. Still doing all kinds of volume at day highs for SSPK.
Wow. Okay. Who knows? Yeah, some of these weed plays, guys. I like True Leave. I like CGC. We could check in on CGC as well. 30. Yeah, I mean, it's just, some of the hype out of these names are a little gone. I mean, you can see CGC today not doing too much. I'm well in the money on my AFRI. I looked at that trade the other day, 40% in the money on this one, and it's been the real ripper ever since that announcement with Tilray, and then them going positive on their last earnings report. I think they made $3 million net after an expected loss of 8 or 9, something like that. So a good trade there. We did get back, I mean, we haven't made a trade, but I think it's a good trade. We did get back into Ford at 43s, so now it's going up to 44s. I have some outs if we can get 48, something like that. We'll take a little bit out on Ford, but let's just wait to see how high this wants to go. Maybe even take some out 46s, 3 pennies. Not a horrible spot here for Ford as it's trying to make its move back upside.
Yeah, and speaking of trying to make the move back upside, we mentioned Alibaba. It's starting to roll over, potentially filling in a bit of that gap. Look, if it breaks below like a 266, I'd rather the entry on momentum, which is approaching right now. So it goes up above VWAP, now looking like it's threatening back below. The market's still looking like we're pushing to the upside here. So, this would be at least a little bit against the grain. So I will have a little bit of a cautionary note here. Even a volume spike pushing back up is likely to get me out of this trade, in addition to looking at like a 267 area. But when 266 breaks, I'm going to roll into the short. I like catching it on the way down as opposed to just stepping in front of that 268, 269, which we observed off the opening range. BlackBerry, look, it's still, there was that buyer that stepped up like 100,000 shares, that market order that came in. It is not back above 13. It just cannot seem to hold above that price. It was like the one buyer, and that has subsided, at least for the time being. So I'm going to stay away from that. AMC looks like it just turned for me here, but again, I already had bids sort of all the way down to in front of this 290. I'm going to see how far it goes. It was one of those things where if it had not turned in about a minute or two, I was just going to get out of it because the momentum wasn't there. But it does continue a bit of a retrace. I was longing before. Now I've jumped into the short trade. First, we did it at like 315 when that broke, and then again at 3 even. And it's going to be the scalp for me, 275. If you haven't guessed it, I will have bids out in front of that.
Yep, exactly. So good trades all around here, guys, for us. Like a great trade on Ford. We got out there at 48, so making some back there for sure on that loss. So
1050.
We did take a loss there on Ford, and now we went back. I wish I could zoom this in a little bit better for you. Here it is. We did take some 50 breaks. We got out 52. Then we had to get out all the way for a worse trade there. But then we noticed some momentum coming back into the name. So we got in at 43, out 46s, out 47s, and then got some 48s, which right now we could get again if we so choose. BlackBerry, we reversed to the long on that break. We did take some out there. We talked about that. Now we're long, back long, 304, 306. So let's see how high that goes. It just went to 15 there. Okay.
Speaking of stocks that have gone crazy or parabolic or absolute nonsense, I want to check in just because this is not, it might not be today, but I'm starting to really think about where to short DoorDash. You guys all know that 140 bottom, and just for multiple days, it was just an unbelievable run. I can't believe it went to 200 within a matter of days, but it turned around at 220. And now, for the second day in a row, you're seeing some consolidation right around this 200 level. If it doesn't break out, this 202.50 yesterday's high, also pre-market highs as well. This thing doesn't break out, there's going to be a short trade here for sure. And I'm looking at maybe like a 195 or something like that. DoorDash, that's a monster run that it's already been on. And again, when you already have the top, it's easier to short when the move has started as opposed to trying to catch it. Sorry, my daily chart there is frozen on DoorDash. Apologies for that. I'll have to reload it. But Alibaba, I did get into position when 266 broke. So 65.92, I am in. I want to see if we can get this one maybe down at least halfway to this bottom at 62.70 before we take any profits. So you'll call that like $1.50 hopefully for the first leg on a winner, potentially on Alibaba here.
Yeah, I like that Alibaba short right there. It's a good level for sure. But Alibaba's still up today, so wait on that one. Okay, so we got out of Ford, back into Ford, and it was a good trade there. I want to celebrate BFT a little bit. We talked about this name again. Fully Transamine, this is going to be PaySafe, up another 3.5%. We've been buying this one for a long time. There was a nice dip opportunity to buy at the close yesterday, but we did get to 1760. Just want to bring that to everyone's attention because that 1760 level, key yesterday, key again there. So watch out, 1760. If that breaks, you know what we'll be doing right there. But what we're doing more importantly right now is Brendan at the big screen. Small cap recap, Brendo.
Hey guys, yeah, a few things to talk about this morning. Tough morning, a little bit choppy depending on what levels you were looking at. I want to start with this one. TRXC, we mentioned this yesterday, went from 2 to 4 yesterday. We're gapping up higher this morning in the pre-market, immediately back to the downside. 420 was a little tiny level in the pre-market that was rejected, got flushed all the way down to 370. This was a little bit tough. They got it back above 4, and then as soon as it held above 4, huge bids stepped up and started taking out the offer. So I actually got out in front of that 420 level, and thankfully I did because it went all the way to 450. But of course, we're right back down now for TRXC. So as I said, a little bit wider range than expected this morning on that one. APM, this one was pretty easy. $5 was support in the pre-market, broke to the downside, gave you an opportunity to fade in front of that. We're all the way down to 4. So a nice dollar move there for APM to the downside. STCN, another one that was moving. 250, 275 was that high from the pre-market, and then 250. So we're sitting here around 210. I have one more bid sitting there. But 210 seems to be holding as support for STCN. Not a lot of volume on that one, though. Guys, back over to you.
Thank you, Brendan. Yeah, look, I mean, we got to find the stocks that trade with volume, and I think that that's a very, very good point there by Brendan, talking about, where stocks are in relationship to volume. And I just think you need to do that. And with that being said, I just realized so I had to change my charts. Those of you that know, we've had some issues with my charts, but they're fixed now, it looks like. So we'll put volume over here. We did not have it up. I just want to show you Ford's volume off the open pretty big. And then this is that spike through 50, right? So we did break 50 there on Ford, and that's sort of what got us going here. But we have rebought it back up. So now Ford making a winner out of us finally to the upside there on F. So we're going to watch out for that. We're just going to keep trading it. Okay, that's not 3D. That's Palantir. Let's check in on 3D. I just saw Dow DuPont there. 3D, $32. Are we up or down today? Pretty consistent volume through, coming to the downside. Now we're only up 3.25%. Choppy. I don't like it. Check back in on DraftKings, and I do want to look at, as well on NEO at some point. See, this is what I mean about DraftKings. Like, good news today, right? All the way to the downside. Be very, very careful with DraftKings, guys. I don't really trust this one.
So a bit of a disappointment for me over here. So I suppose I'll do the Slay the Dragon thing. I did just step away to take a break. I made sure that I've been trying to limit the use of stop orders a little bit here, with some issues and trying to do things manually. So, but I had to step away, so I put a stop in Alibaba just to cover myself. But this little wick here, these dark pool prints that have been going off in the 67, 68 range actually just got me. It's a winning trade, and ultimately it's going to be at like 265. But I thought maybe it can go a little bit further. If it pops back up and gets me anywhere close to that 66 entry point, I'll probably go ahead and take it again. Just worth noting that AMC here, it gave that flush. I got basically, look, 83 ends up being the bottom, and that's the last fill that I got, but I said I would hold on to some of it to see if it go any further. That did not happen. Now we're bouncing back to 3 even. If it goes back above 3, I'll give it to like 302, 303, maybe at best, and then give this one up for the short trade. Brendan, what's up?
Busy one this morning, guys. GRTS, we talked about Gritstone yesterday. Genevant Sciences. So Gritstone teaming up with Genevant Sciences on a COVID-19 vaccine. So a licensing agreement here. So GRTS up again today, 37%. All kinds of halts already in this one. You remember this went from 6 to 26 yesterday. So we're up to 32 now for GRTS, guys.
All right.
I love grit.
Rob, check the chat there, buddy. Everything will be fine. Okay, Amazon right now, guys. I just want to give a big thank you here. Thank you so much to Peter there for this $50 super chat. Amazon gave you $30,000 today. Ahoo! That's a good one. Thank you so much for the $50 love. And Peter, if you want to share your trade, you are more than welcome to do that. Put that in the chat. I'm guessing, obviously, you see the NASDAQ. We talked about the NASDAQ going straight to the high side. And yeah, a nice little move here. So congratulations to Peter. I'll take that 30 grand. That's a nice little spot there. What do you think, V?
Absolutely, Peter, congratulations, 30,000 off Amazon. We wish you to make a lot of profitable days. And guys, please support us also. You can hit thumbs up so we can get 4,000 of likes. Back to you.
All right, yeah, we need 4,000 likes for sure, but that was a great trade there on Amazon. Congratulations. I think you just got to keep buying the strongest names, and Amazon definitely one of those.
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt about it. I mean, I still, and also I'll stick to this, and there's nothing against Amazon when I was pointing out Alibaba versus Amazon. It's just to show you that Alibaba is essentially going to give you the same story and just is lagging at this point, whereas Amazon, if my daily chart's actually Yeah, you know what? I can't really show the daily chart. I mean, Amazon was still holding at those highs before making the break today, so fantastic look there. We got to 2,000 likes already. Definitely amazing. It's already going to be a good day. I went almost an entire hour since the open without mentioning the Toronto Blue Jays' new home of George Springer, so big time signing for them, spending $150 million. I'm happy they just did absolutely anything. This ADMP.
But they spent $150 million on some guy named Springer?
Yes. Who may or may not have had some of his success from banging trash cans, but that's neither here nor there. We don't have any trash cans in the Rogers Center if you even get to play there, George. But best of luck. I hope you all the best because I'm a big Jays fan. I thought ADMP was going to turn at 150. I ignored the 125 level. It turned here at about 10 o'clock, at about like 133. Again, look, this was on my radar for a short trade, and it looks like it gave that VWAP retracement, but if you're going to be doing these counter trend plays, you have to have a plan of action. It did give the volume spike into this range before turning around. The just setup wasn't there for me. I am still holding some of this SENS, the SENS. It's right back to this like 3 even area, and I got out of almost everything the first time down here. Pre-market lows. It tried to break once. It's tried to break twice. It just can't seem to go. I should have reloaded at VWAP. I did not. Busy doing a couple of other things, especially Alibaba. If this breaks 3 even, much like Zom at a buck, I'll be looking to short that 3 even break on SENS.
So maybe my Bark box is not going to do that well after all. We're invested into STIC, and you guys can see here, Neil and Brendan, like woof, now below IPO price.
What? Good look.
Yeah, exactly. So Wolf down here, and I want to give it's not even my look. I want to give a big thank you to Victor here, not Victor Oladipo, but here he is here. Wolf, where was it? Somewhere here. There it is. Wolf, money there. So yeah, I don't know what that's doing to the downside, but Wolf, I don't know, maybe got downgraded. Generally, I look for these IPO levels, but $26, I will not be playing that on Mr. Wolfman. Give us something, Bren.
On the other side of the scale today, guys, Microsoft, remember the news yesterday, Microsoft 2.8% today, just straight higher, 218 to 223 today, guys.
Yes, sir. We love Microsoft. So I guess those are the names that are running the NASDAQ right now today. Like NASDAQ up 2%. Like, wow. As I see, I guess, is he allowed? I guess he's not President Biden yet. President-elect Joe Biden very, very soon as I see him walking up. So that should be probably a decent speech and maybe a market-moving event. So we'll wait to see if that comes through. I'm not sure if that's even going to happen throughout the show, but I do see them getting ready. And it's just, you know, it's nice to see some of these events take place. So that's happening today. Good one there. We'll see. I don't know if that's going to do anything to BarkBox or to Wolf here. Petco, we'll see here, $26. It might be a decent breakthrough, 26, but I'm definitely not averaging into this play. I'm just not sure where we're going to go here on Wolf. I'm surprised it's back below 26, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, you know, I am as well. And the second you said it, I'm like, I just put in the chat. I love the community. It's just like we'll miss some symbols for sure because we're managing a lot here, looking at a lot of different names. But you got to look at those IPO prices because you don't have much to go off of. I was talking about Dash a second ago. I need to come back to BlackBerry because I don't know, and I guess sometimes when we see things like this, it's probably a bit of a. I'll get out of a short trade when I see that market order. I just usually am not going to reverse in when my bias got turned around here at 13. BlackBerry is on the run again. I'll look for the top end breaking. We've seen this before. You get a sharp retracement, and just to give you what this looks like, you get a sharp retracement. 12 to 12.30, and I wrote it down, and then once I was short, I got away from that idea. The dip buy was probably good to start in that range. If it takes out the top, it's a 13.65, and I guess we're off to the races again. I'll hold off for a top-end break here, and maybe BlackBerry is going to go until someone puts a short report on it or something crazy like that, which at some point is going to probably be coming in the next few days the way these things have been patterning.
Yeah, I'd say so. What's up, B?
DSS, Document Securities, guys, they announced a big offering aftermarket yesterday. It was $6 yesterday. We're now at 3 and change. Just bounced off 350, 360 area. But DSS, if you're wondering, down 30%. Big offering on that one, guys.
Hey guys, if you guys could test Unity one more time. I only heard you out of, there we go. Okay, it's working, thanks. Yeah, okay, so Unity is fine. Thank you for that. Yeah, just taking a look here. Bitcoin, I just want to bring this to everyone's attention. I mean, we're not really trading this thing at all. But you could trade GBTC if you were looking at that name. Look at this, a nice little fall downside here from 35,000. And it's again, it's just funny because Bitcoin can drop 10% and it's like, who really cares? Imagine the actual market or gold drop that much, but there goes Bitcoin. 34.5 to the downside. You can trade GBTC. We could have a quick look at Mara as well. Wow, yeah, that was $21, $22 on that offering. There goes my charts. There go Mara. Big move down. You could see if you're trading a Bitcoin, you could always watch these names, as you know, Neil.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like Ethereum pulls back. It's actually right back to that 13. It's like Bitcoin pulls back or Ethereum pulls back 10%, and everyone's like, ooh, buying opportunity. If gold had a 10% drop like that Peter Schiff dude would probably like lose his mind and then I don't know, be pie in his face. Anyways, I like kidding.
Gold's not as fun as Bitcoin. Come on.
It's not the same. It's not the same thing, obviously.
Yeah.
Having a little fun at Peter Schiff's expense. But Brendo, what do you got for us, buddy?
Just looking at the volume list here so far today, not a lot, guys. It's slim pickings as far as relative volume is concerned. Nothing higher than 2.8 on the relative volume scale today, and that's this one. Morgan Stanley, after earnings, rejected 77.5 up there. We're down to 75. Just broke. Looks like it's holding below now for MS, guys.
Yeah, all those banks. You know what? Damn it, Neil, we missed that one because those banks were honestly, like such an easy short there. We can go to MS right now if you guys want to. We talked about them all missing, and then all of a sudden we see today that Morgan beats. That should have been honestly like almost like an all clear there to be able to short this name. This break right there could have been taken. It was that pre-market bottom of 75.85. You could have shorted 76. Like, it's really embarrassing that we didn't do that. 74.65 could be a play as well. NASDAQ still holding up. Let's just check in on the ES as the ES is more likely to tell us what the banks are going to do. Yeah, you're still up 1.06%. Yes, Brendan.
I was going to refresh my chart here first before you threw it to me, Sean, but you did it very quickly. So let's jump over to EHang here, guys. Yeah, it's that time again. If you're wondering, EHang just breaking 62 all-time highs today. Look at the daily chart, 25 to 63. Now, EHang, guys, that's that individual personalized flying electric car company, if you're wondering.
Oh, I was going to ask you what that was because it's an interesting name. I'll give it that.
It's the one that it actually looks pretty cool anyways, but I don't know. The nerd in me wants this to be successful. The skeptic in me here looks at this top break, and this is the kind of breakout that if it fails, you get this push in, turn at 63, and if it cannot sustain, like it just broke the high of the day and comes back, that's usually a pretty solid sign that you're looking for a bit of a retracement play, and it's immediately consolidating lower. So you probably know what I'm going to say next. Depending on how much it costs, because I just saw a 50-cent spread here, so I got to make sure we have A, locates, B, maybe some more liquidity in and around the 62.50. Look. Sideways action or consolidation is useless if there's no liquidity in a monster spread. That's not really consolidation in my opinion. So actually, the second I saw the level 2, I'm like, no, I actually don't want to short that name. So I'm going to throw that one out the window, not shorting EHang off that top there. Maybe it'll go parabolic and give another shot. But good luck to you on EHang. I got into Sens when it just broke 3 even, and then I got distracted by this. We're going to go to Brendan in a second. But like I said, I added to my short in Sens when it broke 3. That's why you'll see a change in my average price. Brenda?
OBLN, 160% now. Wow. Reshape, they're merging with a company called Reshape. So a big pop here just through $4, guys. Volume came in a big way, to say the least, as we head through $4 now. 162 on the percentage for OBLN. It's 10:30. Valeria is watching what's going on over in Europe. There's an hour left in the session over there. B, what's up?
Hey Brandon, European shares are mostly in a positive territory. US inauguration and earnings are in focus. Burberry trading in London is up 6% after posted a sales growth in Asia Pacific for the third quarter. Back to you.
Yeah, some of the retailers coming back to life, guys, heading into earnings.
Okay, so we have a new position right now, so we'll hit, I don't know what to hit. We'll just hit bang. Okay, because it's my favorite stock and it's softy. So we take that break of 223. It's up to 223.20. We put on some decent risk right now. So this is a big trade. We've just been getting out of it. I only have half left right now. And we just took it out basically for 7-8 pennies. But now we're going to hold to see if we can test some bottoms. Not some bottoms, but see if we can keep going. A little nervous here, the NASDAQ, but we're breaking. So I love Microsoft. It's just this 3% seems a lot. We talked about why I like tech today. We talked about why I like this Biden administration for this spot. So here we go. I made SMH the call of the year. That's been doing really well. And here goes Microsoft. Yes! Big trade alert for Microsoft. Spin the money. Let's go, guys. We're back here. We're getting elevated. And now Microsoft for the win, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I got a double triggered here. It's the other direction, but a lot of times when you see the market booming upside and some of the bigger staple names are working well to the upside, I like when these small caps start rolling over at the same time, because it's like, hey, if the real stocks are going up, maybe you should be taking some of your profit in some of these small cap runners and putting in something more solid. Anyways, that's always a theme I like, and simultaneously as the market took the high, bottom break on Sens 3 even, I was able to scalp some to 290, and then a similar thing happened in CLBS. So it's definitely something that usually has worked out in the past. CLBS is only starting its retracement through 4. I just finished saying if it could not hold you up at 4 even, I'm back to the shorts. I know it's still in a bit of an upward trend, it's still up 137%. But I have had one long, and it was accidental at 4. I got out immediately. Everything else has been short. I just like the bias here, and then patiently waiting, hopefully, for this one to come back to this 340 range where it was in the pre-market. Sean mentioned, I almost said Wolf. I can say Wolf.
Yeah, why not?
Petco here. There you go.
The Wolf is on fire.
Man, my 15-minute, I can't show you the 15-minute chart because there's a really ugly wick there. But if I zoom at least a little bit out on that one, it's not at this 25.60, yesterday's double bottom. But if it gets there and I can see any kind of a bid, that's where I might think to step in off of these lows. I just don't see much liquidity on it. If I see a bid jump in, I feel much more comfortable with it. But I see nothing on level 2 here. It's actually pretty thin with a bit of a spread. On these IPOs, I like size levels in addition to some of these bottoms. So if I see a bid at 25.60, I'd get in. Otherwise, no mock.
Boom!
Guys,
Brad,
we're talking about Morgan Stanley there. Sean, you mentioned JP Morgan as well in the pre-market. It's interesting to see the relative weakness here. We looked at Morgan Stanley just starting to break to the downside. This one already 1.3% to the downside. So yeah, financials really offsetting some of these gains today.
Yeah, we've rotated out of JP Morgan, a little bit out anyways, and into Facebook yesterday. Should have picked Microsoft, but whatever. Facebook right now 1.65%, and doing nicely is Facebook, and our Microsoft trade is a banger for sure. Thank you to Sean Owen there. Talked about the scalper, the master class is in. That was really cool. Thank you for that, wherever it is. Softy is my favorite too, Daryl. Yeah, so good on that, Sean. Everyone laughing. Okay, good. That's good. We're having fun here, right? Having fun, educating, and trying to make some money for you. As there goes Softy. Hell yeah. Boom. What was Netflix was a bad trade. Softy is not. Through 223, we've had enough of this. I talked about the NASDAQ going up, and I'm not going to sit there and miss this. So we got to hit this. Big trade alert here for Microsoft, rocketing up my board. And thank you so much, Mr. Softy, as you have been doing quite nicely. Look at this 20-minute on Softy. Bang. So a nice little win there on Softy. Oh, that's what I can hit. I haven't hit that in a while. Where is this? We take out the shares, bang it out on Mr. Softy. So a big trade once again for us over here on Softy. Let's just take some more out.
I can't believe a couple of moves happening here, but I got to get to space of Virgin Galactic because the second Sean mentioned Softy, it's like go back to something which has worked for you in the past and make some sense. Look out, watch out, because as you see some of the tech go to the upside, Virgin Galactic just had a push into yesterday's high. It's been range bound. It was a good break at 25. We talked about it then, 27.50 as well. You get the ARC ETF, space ETF bump. And then now you're holding up at around 30.50 to 31 and starting to come back in. That is a big failed push through yesterday's highs. Pre-market highs and yesterday's highs, and now starting to come back in. So not a horrible spot to swing to be taking profit if you can today. I'll be looking at that 30.50 area just for a day trade only to short on Virgin Galactic. It just turned negative on the session, showing a little bit of weakness for the first time that I'm seeing in this range, guys. So watch out for space. Let's go to Sector Watch. It's already 10:40. Let's go to Brennan at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, let's have a look at the S&P 500. We'll see how things are shaping up so far today. Down a full percent now in positive territory, and then some, 1.1% to the upside. I was just mentioning these. Here's the financials. Really only this Invesco up 6.8%. There were some M&A rumors swirling around on that one this morning, so 6.8%. Everything else, though, either up a little bit or in negative territory. So that's really offsetting everything else as far as the gains are concerned, or we would be up a lot more. Industrials are positive, even with a couple in negative territory, including Caterpillar there. down 1.5%. Healthcare stocks among the leaders so far today. We have communication stocks. There's Netflix, 13.8%. Look at Google right behind it, 3.8%. TTWO, Twitter's here as well, ATVI, Fox, to name a few. You can have a look at communication stocks. Tech shares also nicely higher. CRM, Salesforce 3.5%. MA is here, CDNS, Microsoft as well. Sean, just looking at Microsoft, Soft, Intuit, Now, and CTSH, all about 2.8% to the upside, helping to offset some weakness in the hardware equipment makers and semiconductors, although a lot of positivity coming from the semis as well, guys. So tech stocks are strong. Consumer discretionary names are strong. We mentioned some auto makers here, 5.2% for Ford, GM, 2.7% as well. And then some of the apparel makers having nice days, and also retailers. So really wide range of what is leading the way so far today. Want to look for weakness in the banking sector. There's a few in the industrial group, and then consumer staples way over in the corner there, also offsetting an otherwise nicely positive day so far. 1.1%, guys, for the S&P.
You know what's, thank you, Brendan. You know what's a little undercover here? This amazing Ford trade. I can't believe, like, I was just looking at it there. It breaks through 50. We've been looking at other stuff, but Ford, a beautiful trade now. Really happy with this. We just took some off at 55. So let's just keep on holding some Ford, guys. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see me like live do this here. This is my notes and my hard rules. And one of them is going to be, and I've said this, I think I even said this yesterday, watch the trade halt page, especially if you're looking for names that are going to be on it, or you have strategies revolving around reopens. And look, it's not just the fact that I wasn't watching the trade halt page to see the multiple halts on GRTS. Brendan brought us his name yesterday. He talked about it again today. For whatever reason, I missed this, as it did have successive halts to the upside. There was finally one that failed to hold a higher price. There was probably an opportunity to get short, usually around this 32, 33. There certainly was one on the reopen and consolidation. Now it's right back to 27. This stock has been absolutely crazy. If you ever see something like this and you're thinking about shorting it, the way I look at it, don't do it until post-halt weakness. So any of these ones to the upside, none of those would have fit the plan. The first one you would have taken a shot and then immediately gotten out, or you would have actually had a winner. Everyone since then did not fit the plan for the way I would look to trade these post-halts. GRTS, now that it looks like it's traded for like half an hour without another successive halt, it's trying to find some solid price discovery. The trade might be done to the south side there, but I would look to see if it can hold at least a little bit of a bid. One that we also forgot about, which I've been talking about at least for a few days in a row now, was going to be Lemonade. I thought this would continue its downturn. We're talking about the short, of course, back in the 175, 180s. Then they got the short report. I thought this 140, if it had broke, would have gone to like a 125, and that's where I would love to be able to pick some up. But it does feel like it's caught a little bit of a bounce. There's going to be a 155, maybe potential breakout trade. I don't know if it's today because we just turned around off that price. I was going to have a look at it, and then we pulled back like $5. So let's watch out for that one in the upcoming days. If we've held 140, at least for like a week or so, and we don't get a continued rollover, watch for a 155 breakout on Lemonade. Brennan?
Guys, stick around. Coming up in about 30 minutes, we're going to have another guest swinging by. Should be a great discussion. Finger Motion CEO Martin Shen going to stop by to talk about Finger Motion in the telecom, the wireless data space. So an interesting concept here from Finger Motion. That's coming up again at 11:15, guys.
All right, so the streak is on. We're positive today. And yeah, in most parts, thanks to this Ford trade right there. And then mostly, guys, thanks to our favorite stock. And we just put that up on Twitter, so you can follow us there. We talked about our favorite stock coming through. Valeria, you can drop our Twitter handles there if you do want to follow us. A lot of good stuff there on Twitter on all of our accounts, so make sure you follow us there. Some of our trades, I haven't been able to post too much today. I've just been so busy with some of these positions, including this Microsoft one that we only have now 10% left, of this spot, but we like that. Enough was enough, man. We saw this keep running up. I just chose it over Apple. We could have chose either one. The Apple this was a little bit better because we went up a straight dollar. Microsoft, Apple hasn't really done much there. We picked Softy. Remember the thing about Softy, guys. I like it for multiple reasons, but I also like it that they stepped in with GM. My buy on GM, again, tweeted out, was 48.70. So we're long GM right now, 48.70, and it's at 56.11. It's in my long-term account, so I'm not going to be able to get out of that, or I got to pay taxes. So we're going to wait on that one to see when we retire. Hopefully GM $100 by the time that happens, if not more.
Taxes. You can't get away from the tax.
Can't get rid of
man.
the tax man. That's
You never can. You also can't get away from this, and I've seen this at work a few times at least. But it is in cents. But I just got triggered out of that CLBS at $4, so that'll be a mixed bag for me, unfortunately. But cents will have to make up for it. It rolled over hard just now through 275 with my last out. I'm going to hang on to the last little bit here, see how far it can go. It's below previous close, and you start thinking about where the retracement can come in. Yeah, let's look at the afternoon. Well, yeah, look, afternoon bottom here around 250. That's as good a level as any, so I'll hold to that. It was a 3-even break. I was shorting, well, I shorted a few times here, but the last trade was a 3-even break. 250 looks as good as any to me. I'm just gonna, when it gets down here, I just want to make sure I'm taking some profit off. I don't see any news. It just looks like when it started to roll over, people started heading for the exits, taking some of that profit so they could maybe put it in something a little better.
Oh, into cents, yeah. Okay. Look, a lot of these stocks, man, I mean, Neil talks about them and we trade them. We both go long or short. We're just trading off price action, right? And I think that that's, again, one of the most important things you guys can learn from us is just trade accordingly, trade your book. And if you want to hold these things for a while, do it, right? But we're trying to give you guys some reasons why maybe we are not in that book for holding these stocks forever. So just pay attention to what we're doing and then trade your own. Microsoft, we've been getting out of that name as it's coming back to the high side right now. So we did get out of a lot of those shares. That's Microsoft. We are now out. We only hold 5% now of Softy as it just breaks higher. I wish I held them all, but again, into this kind of a running market there, should have been held. Just, I don't know, didn't believe that we could go up even more. That's the ES. Look at the NASDAQ here, guys, NQ, up that 2% right now. So that's part of the reason why we got out, but we still do hold some of these Microsoft shares.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great look at Microsoft. It's about having an idea where it is that you're going to run when the market goes one way or another. You want to have an actionable trade there. That's why it's no surprise. At least to me, it's no surprise you're in Microsoft there, Sean. But it's a great call, and honestly, you just got to go to what works for you. And for other people, it might be a different stock. We saw that Amazon trade today, and thanks for the super chat there, Peter. So if it was Amazon for you, you saw the tech was moving to the upside. I'm going to go to Virgin Galactic because it is testing that 31 bottom here. If it breaks, I'm going to have the short. And again, it was a big time fail break when I showed you that like 15-minute chart. So it's just a momentum play for me here on Virgin Galactic. I still love it. I love their business, and maybe one day they'll launch me into space. God, I would love for that to happen. Got to get that you-know-what money before I can think about that. I want to show this WOOF chart on my 15-minute, but I really have to clean this up because this crazy spike to $95. It'd be great if it got to that price. It never printed up there, Brendan.
We might have finally found a top on the Sun W, guys. Another one from the clean energy space. Just broke 1650. Big volume spike went off, you can see, and then slammed right back down to 1550. So it's been on quite the tear. So a heads up on Sun W if you're looking at it, guys.
Okay, yeah, Sun W going, Microsoft still going, and then Ford, we're trying to get some off right now. So Ford's going to be a good trade, but I'd like to hit that 55 one more time. Let's check back in on NEO, again, another name that we've been trading today, and this name just keeps falling. We were trying longs, and I don't know how. I feel like I need a t-shirt like I went long and survived it on NEO because all the way down, 59 and change, still moving. So you got to watch out here for NEO trying to make some space here to go. But that stock, I don't know, man. 57 and change. Something to be said there for NEO. I don't really have a play on it, but maybe this is a long off 57. Well, let's try it small here. Maybe a 57.40 break.
Yeah, I see someone in the chat there, like their wife doesn't want them to go up there. Like if I ever get to the point where it's like a reasonable amount to be able to go, my wife is also against it as well, going into space, that is. But I wanted to show you guys a 15-minute chart of WOOF. I've cleaned it up a little bit so you can see. I know Sean has already talked about it, but we get away from some of these IPOs. Petco, I should say. 26, the bottom, this was an unbelievable trade off of the open if you got it, but 25.50. So this like 50-cent range, it's just held it. And there's 25 even, that quarter mark that you have to think about. If those break to the downside, you start thinking also about some of those issue ranges that they had talked about. So maybe 19 would be support. I don't think that's going to happen. But if we don't break this 25.50 on this 26 break, you start thinking about a breakout trade back to the upside through 26. So if I'm staring back at this one in the afternoon, we've held the bottom, we're still in this range, consolidating off of that low, call the bracket. Short if it breaks a low in the afternoon, unlikely, but more likely you're looking at a 26 breakout potentially on WOOF. That would also apply to tomorrow, the day after, if we're still in the exact same range on Petco, guys.
Yeah, woof.com there. It's Petco, of course. Okay, so NEO, it didn't go up to that 57.40. It looks like it's keep going down. Like, what about XPeng here? That's XPEV. That was stronger earlier. What are we? Okay, so we're still down that 127. So XPEV held up a little bit. See, now we're all breaking lower. Look at the NASDAQ, guys. Let's get out of our Microsoft trade. The market is breaking downside a little bit here. We're still 70 cents in the money, so it's still all good. Maybe it's not breaking down after all. A nice little move back to the upside here on Microsoft. So let's just keep watching it and see what we can do here, as it looks like it wants to stay high. But you know what? A 23.50 break. What's the bottom of that candle? 223.75. Yeah, look, this goes back down below 223.75. I get out at the quarters. You guys know that. I think that's a good play right now. 223.75 to get out of Microsoft as we see the market ticking downside right here.
Yeah, and if this is a turn, I mean, I just got into that Virgin Galactic at 31. If this is a bit of a turn, it goes against counter the entry into some of these trades. So the short caps, but this is small cap. This is a different one here. It's a 31 break. I got 94s in. I will scalp to 75 and then see if we can't hold on to the rest. As we do that, time to go to Brendan for Money Talks, some movement in crypto space.
Hey guys, yeah, big movement in currencies. Let's jump right into it. I put the US dollar index on the chart here. So the DXY, big time move down here this morning. This is an hour chart. So over the last hour, 90.75 all the way back to below 90.5. So big move down. That has a lot of these in positive territory, including Canadian dollar, yeah, full percent again today to the upside, back to 79.25 for the CAD. The euro, though, struggling a bit, 121 break even basically for the euro. The pound back to the upside as well, 136 and change. You can see the Swiss franc, Australian dollar, both higher on the day. A little unusual to see that Japanese yen struggling as well, 0.4% to the downside. Turkey's lower as well, 0.8%. We have New Zealand back to the upside. Crypto's all in negative territory here, being led by Ethereum. If you remember yesterday, Ethereum was leading higher. So a bit of a pullback today, 9.25%. Versus about 6% here for Bitcoin today. And yeah, Ripple's still struggling, down about 5.5% as well. Guys, back over to you.
Ripple, you say? Okay, we like Ripple. So we got out there of finally out of Ford at 10.55 off a 10.43 long. So the only thing we have on board right now is our Mr. Softy, and it just keeps going to the high side. So we're happy. We're going to give it Neil all the way back to 223.75. Also excited for finger motion coming in about 20 minutes, guys. That should be a good interview.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an interesting business. I don't want to give too much away because we do have the CEO coming through who can definitely explain it much better than I could. That's why we bring the experts in so you can learn about new places to maybe think about putting money in. Tesla here, it's not going to be today. We keep talking about eventually this break, Sean. It's just, and I keep wanting it to happen, and it just keeps not happening. So once again, turning around off of like an 860 top, we're right back at 840 now. This gives us a bit of an opportunity. If we can level off here, it was a bit of a pivot price all afternoon, well, all day really, on Tesla, hanging out throughout lunchtime below, breakout, and then sort of pivoting below, and then another breakout in the afternoon off of this like 840 area. I'd love for it to go sideways and consolidate here, and maybe you can pick some up for a bottom pick day trade, but that sideways action has yet to actually occur. It's still looking like we're falling off, and with the futures at the top rolling over, not the time to maybe try a bottom pick here, because if the market does go down, maybe you can get a better price in like a half an hour or so. Speaking of that, I want to go back to a trade that I got shaken out of. CLBS here, and this is going to be, it's a bit of a mistake on my part. It's not a huge one. Sometimes I'll throw a stop at an even dollar range without having a closer look at where it should be. This is actually like 405, 406, where it dipped down and there was a bit of a bottom. Now I got tricked by the fact that I missed the 405 break and caught the 4 break to the short side, so my price was on a 4 break at 96. It probably should have been at like a 402, 403. If that were the case, my stop would have been at 405, and I'd still be in the CLBS. So the lesson here is I actually have this chart up, and I'm supposed to be monitoring it on one of my other screens. As you can kind of see, we have lots of charts up. I have ones you can't see here, and then I did have this one up. I should have been paying attention to that, and then maybe not just throwing a blind stop order referencing the price that I had. That's why I'm out of my CLBS short, despite the fact that it looks still fantastic. I am not in this trade.
Oh, boo. Okay, someone mentioning to me about Palantir, so we'll look at that. That's making bottoms now. So, yeah, 26 and change. Thank you for that. Whoever mentioned it to me there, where was it? Sorry, I can't find you there on the chat. Okay, Palantir, let's go switch over. Yeah, nice little bottom there at 26. Look, I mean, I know I'm a bull here on Palantir. We've been long. I am slightly negative on the stock today, net-wise. But this is the thing. Look, I'm not gonna, those of you that are trying to hit big winners, I actually gotta, let me take these executions off here. I just don't think, just to make the daily chart look better, who cares what I'm doing on the daily chart? We still need to break above. Like, this is very choppy. Palantir, you can go all the way back. I mean, let's go all the way back here. November 25th. So what day, I mean, you're basically 2 months now of Palantir doing nothing. So I don't expect big things out of Palantir. So I don't think I'll be looking at this one for like a crazy short or a crazy long anymore. It dipped down to 26. We could call key levels. We should look for size, what we're looking at there. AMC, though, on the downside right now, down 2.8%. It's crazy because we were long BlackBerry here on the bottoms, and we got out right there when it broke through VWAP. But BlackBerry makes that top again at 1350. Should have hit that top at 1350. What's up, Beep?
I just saw this one, guys. Tizania Life Sciences. This is not Tesla. This is TLSA, up 40% today. It's been halted a couple of times. They're in the oncology space. They're going to participate in an upcoming conference to apparently talk about some data they've had coming for quite some time. So much anticipated announcement possibly coming for Tizania, guys, 42%.
I did get a new position alert, so I'll let you guys know. I did say watch out if a buck breaks on ZOM. There was, and it's not even a big bid. I did get like 99.5 short side. So you see that trade in there. I don't know. It probably rounds down, but it is 99.5 where I got short. It's not even a huge level at 99, but it was a brick wall and that it could not burst through. So this one comes back in to like a 101, 102. I'm going to have to think about taking this one off and then where I'm going to find a re-entry point. I thought this would be floodgates opening up when it finally broke this. And pie in my face for not just simply shorting 102, which I've done in the past. I waited for one even to break. It looks like that was the wrong call, but it's still 102, 103 that I have to give this trade to. And I'll even think about reloading. I gave myself some room for that opportunity. I want to go to GameStop. I was one and done for a losing breakout trade in GameStop. And now I'm looking, oh, it hasn't broken. You know what? Actually, I had 36, 50 actually break.
Did it break?
So my stop order did not fill, or didn't go out. So I don't think 36.50 actually went there. Either way, GameStop is now testing that low. If it did go, then I'm not sure why I didn't get the fill. But either way, watch out for that GameStop bottom. The breakout trade did not work. You have to understand how much volatility there is in this name in terms of potential movement. If it breaks, you are thinking about like a 34 could come rather quickly here, but 36.50 about to go out. I have low of the day is 44, so I'm not sure if that was maybe a dark pool print.
I can try to check that up. So I am looking at Netflix here breaking a 576. So if that happens, we're still a little ways away. I noticed that. But if that does happen, then we like that break here on Netflix, 576. We tried it earlier off the open, the basically 575 loss, but it's been holding up. It's holding up on VWAP nicely, bouncing off 570 right here. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit more. Breaking off 570, bouncing VWAP. These are those 76 tops. So that's looking pretty nice. So we'll take that. 576 top there on Netflix. If we break that, we're going to go long. So I think it's definitely well worth the shot here. Good look there. And you know what? Still remains super strong. And again, I don't know. I'm embarrassed that we got out of everything. We still have that 10% you can see here. We're still holding. But yeah, Netflix or Microsoft right now, that smooth dollar now in the money. And we're super happy with it. I can't believe how far this name has gone with sort of nothing happening here. Great news from GM yesterday. Microsoft, just keep buying these bottoms, man, on all these tech names. I really think this is obviously going to be a monster year for the NASDAQ. Brendo. European update. Let's go.
Hey guys, European shares are mostly in a positive territory. All eyes on the US president inauguration. Spain is down 0.16%. Italy is up 0.8%. Germany is up 0.75%. and Britain is up 0.28%. Technical services company Diploma trading in London is up almost 7% after posting a surge in revenue. Back to the traders.
I'm going to quickly throw up a 3-minute here. I did finally get into that GameStop. It did break 36.50 a couple of times there, but either way, I got like 46 this time. I don't know why I didn't go the first time. You are watching, if you are looking back into yesterday's action, it got to like the same price before, getting to like 35. So there's probably going to be some chop zone area in there. And I'm like, in terms of scalping this out, scalping it out isn't taking 15 or 20 cents like normal on a $36 stock. Scalping it out is taking like 50 cents to $1. You're going to start working back into this like 34 if we do get a continuous move to the downside. Because of the nature of like the second day on some of these plays here, the bottom has been taken out. If it fails to get above VWAP at some point throughout lunchtime, I'm very likely to want to have more of these. I've just seen when the short seller report came on NEO, it was able to bounce after that second day. When Lemonade couldn't hold a bid the second day after the report came out, it was Flush City there. So if that's going to be the case on GameStop, it's still a larger short interest, so you have to watch out and have a stop. But I'll reload if it can't get above that 37.50 on VWAP. Otherwise, let's see if we can't get to 35, then 34 is our first two targets.
I like that Flush City. I like that. Okay, so we did get Flush City'd out there on Microsoft as it does break. We were just talking about it and it said like, oh, I can't believe how high it is. Well, it's not high anymore. It's straight down to the downside right now. So 223.50 just breaks and we get out of Microsoft. So I'm pretty happy with that out, and I think you guys should be too. If you had it, who knows how far down this is going. Some of the steam may be coming off a little bit here of the NASDAQ. It looks like it's trying to break right now. This is not a horrible spot even to load up a short here in the market. So watch out. Microsoft now looking to break. We had a key level here. We've bounced off here all morning. Looks like we're going to break on the NASDAQ. 13,225. Looks like it wants to break here on the NASDAQ.
Uh-oh. Is it really? We 7,000 people watching it right now. 2,400 likes, which by my math, we're batting over 300, but it should be batting like. We should be like hitting a foul shot at that point. I mean, if you're not liking this, if you're not liking what you see in the action here, you saw like the Microsoft calls there. It's been a lot of fun for this show. But if you have Valeria using all caps and saying, "Come on, team," oh guys, everybody, what are we doing here? We got to keep a smile on Valeria's face. We do everything we can. Brendan's been coming with some fantastic plays, and I'm just going to point out to you, if you don't like them grits. When Brendan brought this to our attention yesterday, this was a stock in the teens. When he mentioned it today, it was going parabolic to the upside, and again went to like 36. I missed a retracement play. There's going to be some good opportunities with it here, but you have the watch list. You have real-time names coming throughout the day that you're going to get here. You have a community as well, and I have the chat up so I can see when you guys are hollering out symbols that maybe we should be paying attention to that don't hit my standards. This is a monster resource we have, and it's, as Sean likes to say, it's free 99, which there isn't even a 99. It's literally just free, guys. But hit the like, so put a smile on everyone's face. We come here and work hard for you guys every single day, and we like to see when we get that love and support. It really makes us feel good at the end of the day. I just want to come to Sean's name for a second here. Well, sorry, not your name literally, Sean, but Ford in particular. It's not exactly at 1050. But there's been a couple of times it's tested this level and broken through and come back. And I just like those round numbers when they sort of either break through or have a bit of a failure for rollover. And this is just a setup play, nothing against Ford. It's a strong move here. But if it gets back below a 1050 level, I'm going to be looking at the market at tops and try a bit of a rollover, just a scalp trade. So, give it to that high of day. You're risking 5 cents and then looking to short 49 or 50. And then if you can get back to like a 1040 VWAP, that's like a 2-to-1 type of win to loss reward. Watch out for that ZOM. Well, watch out to me. I'm sure I'm the only one shorting it. That 2 or 3, I like a reload at that price as well. And I'm willing to hold on to this GameStop. It hasn't approached VWAP yet. It's at 37 right now. I'll look at 37.50 before I have to make a decision there. But I'm likely to get into something on Ford here. Not much time left in the day. But at this time, I like those reversal type plays where there's good liquidity and solid risk to reward. You're not going to be able to hit your out, and you know where you're wrong. And Ford might be presenting that right now.
Quarterback legend Phillip Rivers retires today. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
He's underrated, man.
Colts looking for a new quarterback, I guess. We'll see there. Lost to the Bills there in the first round there, the Colts. Now looking for a new quarterback. And we're not. Allen and Aaron Rodgers both playing this weekend. And we'll see. I mean, if Mahomes doesn't go, Neil, looking good.
I don't want to win that way.
I think he's going to go anyways, but we'll see there. Yeah, Ford, I don't mind that play at all. Unfortunately, we went long there and only got out a little bit. Then we had to dump it off for a loss, and then we did notice some strength down here as we approached VWAP and rejected it. Then we went longer again and captured that money back on a nice long. So it's just funny how you lose so fast there when you're wrong. Then when you're right, it takes a bit to get going. Finally, it does. We did not get greedy on that as we waited for this level here to come through. Finger motion coming up in about 10 minutes. We're excited to have them on. That's going to be a big interview. Netflix, unfortunately not doing anything still, Netflix. 575, 576 or so, waiting for that level to break. If we can get that, fantastic. We tried and failed already on Netflix. So in at 75, out at 63. That was a $12 hit there on Netflix that we did not need to take. Look when I took this, 9 a.m., like 8:57 on that break there. So that was a little silly. Lesson learned. Was that Brendan?
I think so.
It was, yeah. I mentioned this one earlier, guys. ADMP, 78%, just tagged 150 up there, or tried to at least on a huge volume spike again. This is the one with that COVID-19 treatment that they're working on in conjunction with another company. So we talked about it back here, make a day high, and now we're at day highs again for ADMP.
Look, I'm gonna call you out here, Tyrone Biggums. The Chiefs are not running for 250 yards. That's absolutely not going to happen. Bills, you saw what they did to the Ravens. They're going to shut down. Look, it's going to be a good game. I think a lot closer than most people think, and I think the Bills are going to.
Was Tyrone saying the Chiefs are going to run it?
He thinks the Chiefs are going to run for like 250 yards in the Bills, which I mean, I don't know what the prop is, but I promise you that is a ridiculous call there. Not necessarily a ridiculous call. Just going to come back here on BlackBerry for a second. Not necessarily a ridiculous call to have thought there would be a breakout at the high of day. And it's weird because normally, this high or low, you get a fail break through the top here. And again, we were long. Sean and I were long when this came to this high, and we're both taking profits at 50. So to see it turn around at 1350 at this time of day and to not be short is a bit weird because usually I would be hunting for it. But it is what it is, and when I saw that buy order at 13, I sort of went away from the short trade and got a bit bullish, and the one order I have in is still that breakout through 1365, which I'm not canceling on BlackBerry, so even if it goes in the afternoon, I guess that's the way we'll have to take the trade. The other one we have on is that GameStop. It did turn around, but look, it didn't get to VWAP. I don't care what this little wick tells you right here. I was going to look about rolling over into some more short, if it did get up there, but it was just no hold. I moved to like a 3-minute chart so you can see a little bit better when I look at GameStop, but it never really gave you that reload opportunity or that re-entry. If you wanted to have it at like 37.50, trust me, you would have had to pay like 37 even. It's now trying to take out the low. You can see I'm not even bidding until in front of 35, and that's the way the risk reward has to be on GameStop for my style here. If you're going to be scalping it, I think, certainly it would have been better to wait for that pushback into VWAP and then get it on the way down. You'd be scalping in front of the low of the day, but that's not the trade route that I've gone.
Whew, yeah, good. I mean, great. Look, great talk. If you're joining us today, thank you so much for the very first time. Which coming up is our guest, guys. One, perfect. Here we go. Coming up in less than 10 minutes right now, Martin J. Shen, CEO of Finger Motion. We'll get the symbol for you. We'll get talking about it. It's a very interesting product, new idea coming through here. And that's why we bring them to you. It's just to show you some of these new ideas. A lot of you guys like to buy, stocks when they're first coming out, brand new ideas. So there it is again, Finger Motion coming up very, very soon with Brendan. All the questions you want. If you do have any questions, get ready to put them into the chat.
Yes,
we will look on that one. Someone's saying, what the OBLN? What
That's going again?
Hell just happened to this one.
Oh.
OBLN halted. I don't know.
Right.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, straight upside. Oh, halt, I guess, and then down to 578. This stock going off 260%.
No, it has. So check that. It hasn't halted. It just dropped $1 without
it just
halting.
gapped?
What? How do these halt rules even work? How did it go from 4 to 650 at this time of day in that short a period of time without halting? Again, I don't know what's going on with that stock, but crazy one. I'm glad you guys just brought it to our attention. Man, I love this community. So shout out to all of you that just talked about OBLN. I don't know why that didn't just tick for me. This one was on my watch list, and I didn't actually see that one for whatever reason. How did it not halt?
I don't know. Someone said just got out in time. Yeah. Okay, look, so I'm going to actually talk about that. Who said that? Pro day trader. So that's a pro move right there. Like, you don't need to hold these things forever. So congratulations on Pro Day Trader. If you're in this, how much are you looking for? excuse me, depending on where you're in, like even if you're on this 420 break there, pun not intended, I guess, sort of, kind of is. 420 break there, how high do you expecting this to go? Like 660, 680, like that? I mean, those are good wins there. You know, we always say it all the time on this show, and I apologize, don't, hide your eyes, but pigs get slaughtered. My friend Jim Cramer talking about that all the time. And we did have Kevin O'Leary on the show that said, once you have a winning trade, take a percentage of that, put in your pocket. And I mean, you got to take some profits there. OBLN dropping down. Don't know if there was news there, Brendo, but this stock coming right back to the downside. What's up?
Yeah, I don't see anything new on this one. Remember, this is that Reshape merger, guys. So there is merger news on this. They're teaming up with Reshape to expand some weight loss products, but I don't see anything new as far as OBLN is concerned, guys.
Yeah, I see the turn there, and I was just saying to like one of our members in the chat, I hate it when you don't see the actual move to the upside. I'm looking at maybe like a 575, and I just picked a 555 to the short side. I'm looking at a 575 for a tight stop, and again, if I knew more or if I saw what actually happened on the way up, which I did not, maybe I'd have a little more confidence in this play. I was able to scalp some out for like a 25-cent win, and then I'm seeing it try to hold a bid above 75, and there it goes. And you know what? I'm going to go manual on this one because once again, I did get the out there. Okay, yeah, we actually got the out there 175 broke, so I was kind of doubting the stop orders. I was able to scalp a little bit on the short, but I can't dig into anything too crazy given the fact that I do not see what happened here, and it's still volume spiking to the upside. So it looks like it's a really, really strong name, OBLN, and I don't know why it's going parabolic here. Looks like it's a squeeze, guys.
Yeah, I mean, what else is it? Yes! Okay, so Google might be going back to the high side on my account. As Google right now, 5%, 4.4%, overstating there. Yeah, that's a big stock and a big move for such a big name. Google, yes, this is the thing. I've been loving Google for a long time. I thought I was crazy buying the stock, $1,000. You're wondering about it. But look at the day chart on Google, man. It's just straight north side. So, don't be afraid to take stocks based on what price they are. You can now trade in a lot of brokerages. Fractional shares. I mean, Google for the win right now. Look at that. Breaking out on GOOGL right now, taking out that 1833 and running high side right now. What a great name, what a great stock. We still have earnings to come on some of these plays. So look, I mean, it's up and away. They closed that deal with Fitbit, so congratulations to them on that. So now they can also step in, use their technology and whatnot back into Fitbit. So, I mean, the strong just keep getting stronger here. Google today, we talked about the tech names, Microsoft included. Microsoft, a big monster win for us, more than $1 right there. But Google, that's a big win. 4%, 3.5% for Microsoft. Hell yeah, on your portfolios today, guys.
Yeah, it looks like Citron again out here on, and you know what? I actually just punched out of my short on this because I saw a big time volume spike and assumed the worst. But Citron coming saying it's still going to 20, but they don't want to go live in the middle of inauguration. Yada yada yada. I thought there was a little more substance going on there. So I did get that rollover at 37.50. Like I was saying, if it gets to that price, I want to jump back in. But I immediately took it out when I saw that there was potentially some news. But that's not really much of anything on GameStop. I might look to try this one again off of like 38.20 or so if it settles down. But that's all the volume spike was. Looks like a bunch of people short covering when Citron made that tweet. And I was one of them, so pie in my face. I'm going to see if I can't get back in and use that 38.20 as a better area. And still watching that OBLN. Likely the two stocks I think I'll be the most active in for the rest of the day. And probably ZOM, as it looks to retake one even. I still want that one to almost be the haymaker if it can be and hold below that 99-cent mark. It can easily go back down to 90, and you know I love those plays.
Yeah, and ZOM, good trade there. Love that name. Back into the pet space there with ZOM. Again, we can just keep talking about these. Palantir making new lows today. So what's happened today? Look at Palantir. Look at NEO. I mean, look at a lot of these names that we're talking about that have been high flyers before. Look at AMC today coming off. A lot of these names. Look at NEO coming off today as well. So there's a lot of names coming off, and I think they're rotating back into some of these stronger tech names. No, I don't think that's what's happening. I know that's what's happening. You've seen Apple upside. You've seen the NASDAQ up that 2%. Microsoft, Amazon. Thank you again for that big super chat there off a $30,000 trade on Amazon there. Thank you so much. I can't recall your name, but thank you so much for that super chat. That was a big trade. I think there's some money coming out of some of these big ones. BlackBerry, up, but still down off the open, right? 1350 open, now down to 1270. Netflix looking to take off the top there. Big report from Netflix. Money flowing into Netflix. Money flowing into a few other names there. Tesla, although down, still getting flows. You could check in. Let's check in on NVIDIA. That's one space, though. I'm noticing the semis right now. NVIDIA upside, but watch AMD here. AMD, if you're going to pick up any of these names, I still believe a lot in AMD, and they continue to get hammered because of some Intel strength, but whatever. I like AMD for the long side. It's going to be a good one, and Brendan's ready with our guest of the day.
All right, guys, in a world with ever-expanding uses for mobile data and specifically location-based mobile data, FingerMotion has developed and is working on marketing purposes for location-based mobile data throughout multiple different Chinese markets. Martin Shen is CEO of FingerMotion and joins us today to talk a little bit about the company and tell us about some of the latest developments with FingerMotion. Great to have you, Martin. Welcome to the show. Tell us, for anyone who's maybe not familiar with the company, we'll get into the products a little bit, but let's start off with just a little bit of basics when it comes to FingerMotion.
Sure, and thanks again, Brendan, for having me. I can give you a really quick history, hopefully not too long-winded. FingerMotion really started as a video gaming platform back in 2016, and that's really where the genesis of the name came from, the visual of having users or gamers on their mobile phones or on their tablets playing video games. And at that point in time, like any gaming platform, the best thing that we could do is obviously try to attract users or attract gamers to our platform. At the same time, the regime, let's say in China or the government in China, was trying to crack down on things like corruption and anti-money laundering with respect to the payment processing for mobile phones, how the consumer is going to pay their phone bill. And so it really made sense for us to really pivot really quickly and convert what we had in our mobile gaming space into a mobile payment processing space. And so we were able to tender and obtain one of these licenses to act as a payment processor. And to equate it to something that would happen in North America, it would be as if a consumer was going on to Amazon to pay their Rogers or Verizon phone bill. And we would sit as the intermediary in between and handle the payment processing for that transaction. And we were able to do that quite successfully. We built a very robust and reliable system, something that the telcos could rely on. And so that extended our reliability with the telcos to an SMS business as well. And so this business is slightly different than the top-up business. The idea here is that the telcos could offer discounted SMS messaging bundles. And so we could extend that discount through to our corporate customers. And so if, let's say, an airline or a car manufacturer or even train companies or whatever, they wanted to promote something to their authorized lists of customers, we could handle that transaction quickly. It would be at a discounted rate. And of course, all messaging within China has to be government regulated. Obviously, it can't be spam, it can't have propaganda, it can't have any illicit materials or anything untowards the country. So in our back end, we also had a quick review and approval process from the government. So that combined with the discounted prices, I think made it very attractive for our corporate customers to come to us and say, okay, we'll use your system to send out SMS bundles.
So multiple different,
yes,
multiple different products to dig into here, and I want to get to them. But let's focus specifically on the data processing when it comes to insurance companies. Tell us, a fairly new venture for the company. Tell us about how that started and how that works.
Yeah, that exactly is probably what we're most excited about. Because of our reliability in those first two businesses, we were able to obtain a license to go into the telco's facilities and study their user data. Now you can imagine for companies like China Unicom and China Mobile, that a database is about 1 billion, 1.5 billion users. And so going in to study their user data is a wealth of information. Now, that license isn't granted to everybody, but again, because of our history with the telcos, we were granted that license. And we have to be very cognizant of obviously privacy issues. So when we go in and study that information, we scrub it for personal data. And what we do is we provide anonymous and aggregated data that we can pull out and data packets that we can pull out from that information. Now, the first step, the low-hanging fruit that we're talking about is insurance. And the idea is that if we do have aggregated and grouped data, you can separate it between, let's say, someone that's 30, 35, drives 2 miles a day to and from work and doesn't text when they're driving, as opposed to someone who's also in the same age demographic but drives 50 miles a day because they're a delivery person or a salesperson and they do text when they're driving. So if you can conceptually put that in your mind and then see how that could apply to the insurance business, we can certainly maybe present to the insurance companies a low risk profile user, which would help the consumer as well, because they could probably be offered lower premiums, and the portfolio for that insurance company could be built up with low risk customers. And from a finger motion point of view, we would partner with the insurance companies to see what would be the maximum benefit that we could obtain in that partnership.
Now, I want to talk a little bit more about the privacy side of things. When anytime listeners or viewers in this case hear this type of talk, we get a little bit concerned when it comes to personal data. You touched on how the company is going in, seeing the data, removing the personal side of things to get to the location and the travel type of information. Talk a little bit more on how users in this case, or the actual cell phone users, are protected from a privacy standpoint.
Well, I think that the privacy thing is one of the primary concerns for the company. We didn't want to get into a situation, I don't know if you remember a few years back with Facebook and Cambridge Analytica, where they were owning the data and then selling it off. So one of the big things for us is that we never own the data. The data ownership is retained by the telcos themselves. All we have the right to do is go in and study that data. And one of the first algorithms that our data scientists have put into that study is to make sure that we do scrub out that personal information. That when we do pull out the information, it's not the name and anything like that, but it's anonymous, and then it's also grouped and aggregated. And like I said, with the car insurance model, we're looking at groups of individuals that may be 30, 35, groups of individuals that may only drive 2 miles versus 50 miles, and then groups of individuals that do not text versus texting. And then the wealth of information. We had, I think, upwards of a few thousand different data points that we can look at. So you can imagine kind of intermixing of information that we can build and what we can pull out with the data packets for the privacy end.
Martin Shen is CEO of Finger Motion, joining us today. Martin, let's talk a little bit about other possible uses here for this data processing, as you are speaking of. Obviously, the insurance and the automobile insurance specifically angle to this is very profitable, or potentially very profitable angle. But tell us where other business opportunities lie when it comes to this type of activity.
Well, I think any company, you always want to look at, see where you can expand this sort of information. And like I mentioned, with all the data points that we're gathering and the group of information, grouped information that we can pull out, there's a myriad of different aspects that we can go. We can look into not just, let's say, auto insurance, but within the insurtech space, you can look at life insurance, health insurance. So there's a big bunch of things that we can look at within just insurance, but then also expanding outside of that. Healthcare, certainly within the financial services, micro lending or loans, where maybe disadvantaged people may not be able to have access to any credit rating, for example. And if we can pull that sort of information out, then I think that's places that we can extend our businesses to. Obviously, we haven't made any determinations of where that can go, but that's thoughts that I think the data scientists and our actuaries that we have on staff, as well as management, are looking into.
So the company is currently operating in China. Are there specific markets within the country that you maybe succeed a little bit more or have more activity in versus others? And also tell us a little bit about any other potential markets the company plans on moving into in the future.
Yeah, so for all of our systems, the top-up system, the SMS system, and certainly the big data side, all of the platforms that we built, the idea behind it, of course, is that it's exportable. The idea is that we can take that platform, be it the big data platform or the top-up platform, and replicate it in other jurisdictions. And obviously, we would probably want to look at jurisdictions that are somewhat similar to China right now. But we haven't made any determinations at that time. Obviously, what we have right now is something that is scalable and can be replicated in other countries, other markets. But like I said, we haven't made that determination right now. But I think what's also important is that we make sure that we have a good foundation built up with the market that we have. Like I mentioned, it's a very large market. I mean, 1 billion, billion and a half users. Let's build that foundation first. Let's make sure we have a good foothold in what we're doing in China. And then once we get that information, that feedback, then we can expand to other markets.
And when it comes to regulations and different laws surrounding this type of data and accessing this type of data from your side of things, talk a little bit about maybe how China may differ from other countries in that case.
Well, I think being a U.S. listed company, I think there's always a stigma attached to maybe Chinese companies and how they operate. We operate as if we are a North American, a U.S. company. So we really follow the U.S. privacy laws more than anything else. So that's really our very first step. And then what else we can do to expand our market will follow a structure that's more North America based versus what is more China based. We respect the fact that we are operating within China, but one of the benefits I think that we have is that me being in Canada, for example, our board of directors are all outside China. I think most of them are either in Singapore, in Canada, in Australia. Our CFO is in Malaysia. So we have really a world view on how to operate the company, how to run the company. And so I think that differentiation helps us run a better company that kind of maybe will help us down the road.
Yeah, the company currently listed on the OTC markets. FNGR is the symbol, guys, if you want to go check it out, Finger Motion. Any plans on a possible uplisting in the future?
I think any company that's public, I think being on a senior exchange is always something that they want to look forward to if they can do it. Certainly the board and directors and myself would probably have to discuss that again. We were going to look at alternatives of being on a senior exchange. Right now, we're very happy with the goals that we've made moving up within the OTC markets. Obviously now the QX now, so we're at top tier, which means obviously more stringent regulations, more transparency, really, which is something that we're very proud of. And so wherever we go in the future, that's something that the board is going to have to look at.
Martin Shen, CEO of Finger Motion in the mobile data processing solutions side of things. Martin, a pleasure. It's a very interesting concept and one that I'm sure will just continue to grow in popularity and in demand. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. Talk to you again soon.
You as well. There we go, guys. A little look at Finger Motion. Interesting concept, guys.
Really interesting concept. I also love the fact that all the sports memorabilia in the background there.
Yeah, I'm feeling that Ronaldo. That was nice.
Bull stuff. Look, we get them on again. We're probably gonna have to dive into that. Obviously, there is only a few minutes left in the show. A few things have happened. Well, I mean, not too many crazy things have happened. But one of them is Tesla. I just want to quickly go to this because I did say if it got some sideways or consolidation around this price, I would try to pick up a long. I got entirely distracted fading into some OBLN, some mixed results here. Basically, hopefully flat on the stock, but I do have a 680 short if it can hold this top. But missed a chance here potentially at this bottom in Tesla. Market's still running to the upside and Tesla bouncing off the bottom. Brennan?
Yeah, we are into earnings, guys. Couple minutes left here. Want to make sure we have a look at what is coming up as far as earnings are concerned. A few on here that are going to be worth a look tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, there's a few on there. What do we like there? Yeah, fuel cell's been moving. Alcoa pretty sleepy, but that's been moving as well. There's going to be a lot of names regardless. I mean, you see the way the market's moving today. NASDAQ at all-time highs, so we'll look for some of those names, and I'm sure there's even more than that, but it's going to be a good one. Today was a great show, and thank you, everybody, for joining, and thanks for the comments about Finger Motion. Was very positively received there on the chat.
Yeah, very topical idea and a concept that they have going. But like, there's a few things we have to do before we get out of here. You certainly know one of them. It is going to be, I think, an exciting rest of the week. I think that goes without saying. Some of the earnings, we did have some of the big bank ones. But I'm always interested, and usually I have a bit of a heads up as to what it's going to be. But I have no clue today, so let's go to Ms. V.
Thank you, Neil. And hey, guys, another great trading morning together. I wish you a great rest of the day. Thank you for joining us, for all the support. Don't forget to hit thumbs up, and happy National Cheese Lovers Day.
All right, I can get with that, especially with some nice wine. I've been having some of that lately. Down with the blue cheese in the middle, man. I mean, I like the brie there as well. Lots of cheese, lots of nice palate tempting items right there. Tesla just comes out here, dropping prices in Europe on the Model 3. So if you're looking to get long Tesla, this is not a horrible spot to do so, as I think that that's a pretty decent headline there. Dropping prices means more accessibility, in my opinion anyways. That's that for Tesla.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. And look, if you didn't like the bid that it just picked up at 840, there's a little bit of news to go with it. Not a big volume spike in the last couple of minutes, but either way, making moves to the upside. The futures are still at that 2% mark. We're hovering on the highs in the NASDAQ. The market is loving this day. We're loving all the support that we get, of course, and all of the love. So thank you guys so much for your continued support. The market does not die, but we do have to get out of here. So for the entire team, for Ms. V, green day, green outfit, from our man Sean Katina, for Brendan Wickens. Looks cozy in that sweater. I should have worn one today. I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.